might actually have to postpone this a minute because now I gotta go to the bathroom. Just give me just a second, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Done. Hello, KJ. Hello, Greenie. Hello, Christy. Hello, Cindy. Today, doing all right, Christy. Today, I am going to be reading from my own work, if I can see it. It's great to be seen by you guys. Hey, Rach. You made it. I thought there was a chance you wouldn't. Should have rinsed that out before I poured water in it. Good. Thank you, KJ. I have a lot of this stuff is fragmentary, scattered across my Patreon. It became, for me, a way to cope with my environment. But I am going to take you on a trip through time. I'm going to read this stuff to you. Uh, 2012. I began in 2012, but most of these drafts are either from 2021 or 2024. This draft is from 2024. I titled this one, these are all drafts. I published them, but I published them for free initially, and then now I make them available not for free because that was work of a dead person. God, that's awful. I made a huge mistake. I titled this one, Not Robert Longshore. This is not an apology. Now, the work itself is called This is not Robert Longshore. The Memoirs of the Fulcrum of Fate. And it's designed to be experienced. I had a little bit, I didn't dump the ice out of my Mountain Dew before I poured more water in it. So just tiny amounts of Mountain Dew syrup in my water just has made it very, very gross. Hello! My name is not Robert Longshore. I was born during the winter solstice somewhere atop a Welsh hill in the year of our Lord 875. Not long indeed, not by the span of my own lived experience, after the convention of the ADBC dating system was invented. But hugely influential and important theologians are not exactly what this work is about. Morning, Lippy. Or afternoon, actually. I would like to share with you a story. Really, I would like to tell you a secret. If I might, I would like to tell you all the secrets about this world and the next. But I must first make a confession. I don't remember what they are, but I did, once. It's not even that I don't remember. Not really. I'm sure I could if I tried. But you couldn't believe me. That much must be true. Not yet you couldn't. You see, you'll need to understand one very fundamental and important piece of information if you're going to understand this work in its greater entirety. I am dead. I have been dead since the clock struck midnight in Chicago, 1900. It may be that you're thinking to yourself that Chicago and 1899 are a long way and time removed from the year and place of my birth. It may be that you're not. You may have already stopped listening, but that's all right. It is. You'll see. I kept the secret, my friends, I did. For over 1,000 years I kept it safe, and indeed, its telling died with me. And this is the other half of the truth. I know where I hid it. And I know how to keep you safe from the worst of it, the worst of what they will do to you, to me, to this world when they find out. But it's too early in our acquaintance to speak of these things. You must see and you must understand the end, the real end of humanity is not long away. We have to stop it. We must oppose them. Someone once said to me, and now I'm saying it to you, you are my only hope. You must know this. I cannot speak these things, these secrets, mysterion even, of their own accord. This cannot be a numbered list, nor a categorical analysis of them one by one. I must, by reason of my very nature, and I will get to that, hide them in the story of my life for you to discover. The only real problem is that the historicity of my living has been, let's say, blotted out of the record. Good luck finding me in any 2 half-centuries, and knowing you found me, by reason of it, if you must know, my having lived over 1,000 years. This story, then, will not be a short one. While a memoir in one work in one entirety, this is not the jotted memories and surprise revelations of a celebrity or some sort of public figure. You will have to determine for yourself my actual celebrity and whether I ever amounted to much of a public person. I will be relating, if not exactly recreating, to you, but we will return to that. For everything this work is not, and unless you have read true scripture, it is unlike anything you or anyone now acquaint yourself with, you now acquaint yourself with has. What it is, or what it will be, is not unadvantageous to you as the end nears. Let me then be very clear. When I speak of the end of humanity, I could mean many things. From my perspective, time is different than it is for you. It's all at the same time, for starters, and, well, the future is another story altogether. Let me return to it. Hey, Nuestra, buenos dias. In order for me to enter, to interact with any given moment in time-space, it's very complicated, and you do not need to know this in order to enjoy this. In fact, it might be better for you entirely if you were to forget everything you think you know, and listen like a newborn babe with naked, virgin ears and eyes. I must needs enter the mind of a willing host, like a possession or a spirit medium. I understand those were all the rage after I left, especially after the great wars, as you will call them from my last living perspective, after the great cullings. I also understand that few enough of you will know what these things, possession, spirit, mediumship, are, how they function, what they look like, to understand fully by these words. Worry not. These are only the introduction, the apologia, if I were at all eloquently apologetic. My host, we will call him V, is irrelevant, but I am able to draw from his knowledge of this time and many of those previous to orient myself in time-space. Again, it will be for you to evaluate to what degree my choice was well made. Orientation is necessary, as is accuracy. The time-space of my youth, indeed your yesterday, are in a fundamentally different place than they are now, whenever that is. The world, the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, they are all in constant motion, constant flux. It has been said that the argument over free will and determinism cannot be solved until at any one moment, one infinitesimal slice of time, we have the ability to organize and know every single piece of data in the universe. V and I will not be doing that, but we will be trying. Again, orientation is necessary because, as I have said, I have no brain. As such, my memories are not mine at all. I have no access to them as they return to the source, where all things go when we die. And the source is currently being controlled by, let's call them beings, or entities, which do not have the best of intentions for humanity as a whole. The Luciferian rebellion, if you know what that is, and especially if you do not, was only the beginning. My death was not an ordinary dying. Because of the unnatural prolongation of my mortality, it wouldn't have been. By the end, so-called natural means, cancer, the degradation of the body, foreign corruption, held no sway over me. But, as I am not exactly telling that story, that information is only novelty or trivia, isn't it? Or perhaps it's bragging. From a certain point of view, probably it is. It's complicated, and someday you'll understand, should you choose to. But the soul is made up of 3 composite parts. I will not be working you through what they are here. In death, these parts return to the source. A ghost or a god, indeed, me, is what happens when not all of the soul returns to the source. A ghost or a god, indeed, Again, it's complicated and not wholly relevant, except to pique your interest for what these pages may contain. My soul was ripped, yes, by magic, if you must know, from my body. I was only barely able to retain this small, tiny, even, portion of myself. And now I need your help. This takes an enormous toll on V's sanity. Listen, and listen well. Before I continue to my narrative, allow me one further peek behind the curtain. The future is difficult to visit in a jumbled mess of potentiality. But that potentiality ends. That's what the source is, really, a potentiality engine. And there is no such thing as a perpetual anything. And that is what the powers that be, as I call them, are fighting over. The inevitable end, the inexorable creep of entropy, the marching mountain of mutually assured destruction. The end, then, not just of humanity, but of what makes humanity cosmically special, cosmically important, nay, cosmically necessary. Choice, and the freedom to make it. You, human, assuming you are indeed human, have free will. You do. I am not mythologizing, or I would start at the beginning. I would. Since I'm memoiring, however, I will continue explaining what you're experiencing just a little more. I'm almost done, dweller of the internet age. I am almost done. For now. I will be using V, his mind, his hands, his voice, to tether myself to a living body, that I might quite literally transport myself back in time for your betterment. And if I am not too proud, amusement. While time travel forward is not impossible to me, it is difficult in my state. And what I would find there, as much as you would like to think differently, is of little use or interest to you. It would indeed be a much simpler thing for you to remove yourself from the current time-space thread, as it were, by shooting yourself into space at 99.8123% the speed of light, or whatever they say. We didn't have Einstein when I was still alive, so I don't actually know the theories of relativity, special and otherwise. Doing that for a 10-year round trip from your perspective would return you to the time-space thread from which you'd left 20 years later. And let's be real, that's entirely impossible to you. In fact, it would be easier for me to hitch a ride in your soul, listener, than it would for me to intelligibly visit the future. The past, however, the past is a different story. For me, and for beings like me. Though do not think for a moment that it is not, in its way, forbidden from us. But don't confuse me with a time traveler, with some kind of Terminator or time tourist. I am going back, as I say, like a smuggler who has abandoned invaluable cargo at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, deep in the twisting labyrinth which is the hollow earth, or just like a diver to Atlantis. I will need a tether, and quite literally a lifeline. That is V. He is my safety equipment, my pressure-resistant diving suit. I will be approaching as close to my past selves as I can manage, and I will be recounting what I see, what I saw, what I felt, what I heard. I will be sending the information of my experience along the tether to V's brain and through his body in as granular detail as I can manage. The ancient oracular process in spectacular high definition. But don't think for even a second this isn't dangerous for me, for you. If I interact with myself too closely, the alive-dead superposition will collapse and I will be trapped here forever. If I am observed by another entity, such as what I have become, I am liable to be destroyed outright for the violation, you see. I don't need to tell you what more they could do. I could allow them to come into their future with me, into your present. Who knows how an insane, immortal entity will react to the trauma of being unable to return to its time-space. The same for all of this. Could also be true if the connection between V and I were severed. He'd have to come looking for me and pray to all the gods in all the heavens. He never has to do that. I wouldn't expect him to. This is too hard. Let's turn our attention now to this first novel-length adventure I would like to tell you. A tale of suspense, mystery, and dare I say a romance for the ages. The Lesvos Serpent. I was a young man once, and I fell in love. Once. This has been not Robert Longshore speaking. That was never my name, but it will do. And this is the Memoirs of the Fulcrum of Fate. Until next time. And that's what the episodic will be like. So there's episode, the prelude. Now, let me get this to go back to my collections. Why are you the way you are? Thank you, Greenie. Say what? Says Eric. All right. I'm reading these directly from the Patreon. The way they're listed on the Patreon, whether it's how they should be read or not, This Is Not Rob Longshore $25 collection. If you read it from the order they were posted, the first few that are in there, I mean, you'll figure it out pretty quick. But what happened is, I've been working on this on and off since I was since 2012, and then in 2021, I went and I moved in with a woman, went and lived with a woman, and I took the first year of living with her. I took 2021 and I used it to write. The stuff that's on the Patreon is a combination of that stuff, and then midway through 2024, I started to get a little bit of movement, people looking at that stuff, being interested in what I was writing, and so I came back to it. So the first 5 or 6 on the Patreon are that, when I came back to it and was working on it before I became homeless in 2024. And this is from 2021. These are not all this long, but I wanted every episode, every part, every whatever, I wanted it to be its own novella. I'm prolific enough that they can be novella length. Because of the process by which these are written. And I do want to smoke. I just sat and I pulled a rage and let that whole cigarette burn without hitting it once. I lit it, got it lit, pulled on it to light it, and that's it. And don't worry about it, KJ. You don't need to fully digest it, because again, all of this is technically drafts of whatever quality you want to think. I published it to a blog so I could get some movement toward generating some interest, because it's supposed to be a visual as well. There is a visual that should be going with this, and then the audio it's not even written, it's written right now to be read with eyes. It's not even, I didn't compose it to be heard, so I'll do my best, but it really is supposed to have lots of sound design on top of it, and you'll understand why. I titled this one, This Is Not Robert Longshore, The Memoirs of the Fulcrum of Fate, Book 1, Part 1, Episode 1. But if I had gone through and properly subtitled it, it would actually be called, heard that, Eric? This one will be called, This Is Not Robert Longshore, The Memoirs of the Fulcrum of Fate, Book 1, The Lesvos Serpent, Part 1, A Dream I Died, Episode 1, This source is called Darkness. That's what this would be called. And so this first part of this is actually called A Dream I Died. And there you can find that on the Patreon elsewhere. That title, A Dream I Died. 1. Subchapter 1. I'm sitting at the place of honor, at the long dining table on the upper floor of my friend's house. Around me are gathered my closest living acquaintances, my mother and her rich friends, of course, but those who have followed me since effectively the beginning as well, my apostles, they will call them someday, though they will never love the Greek. They are all eating and drinking and being merry just as the book suggests, especially as it is appropriate for this, the Seder, the traditional celebration of our people, just as I bade them only moments earlier when the food and drink first arrived, and we had given proper thanks to our God, my Father. The door to the room opens, and from downstairs 2 slaves emerge. They are carrying between them a new course of bread and wine, the special bread and wine, the new Eucharist of the coming new communion with God. As the slaves move to set their burden to either side of me, I hold up a dismissive hand, distracted. They disappear with their load behind my chair. Hypocrite. I castigate myself quietly. I can actually do the whispered, or the internal parts I can do like this. Casually taking advantage of the trappings of wealth like a prince of the earth. You're not going to change your mind and make it work either, are you? I can feel the slaves' eyes on me, their presence. I can imagine them thinking similar, probably worse things about me. Forgive me, friends. Slaves you may be today, I think, hoping they will know my thoughts. But the time of your liberation is at hand. I must be patient. These men, my beloved friends and companions, are not ready for that bread and wine. Not yet. Hold it for me just a while longer, and your reward in heaven will be greater than any suffering you have or will endure upon this earth. Smiling away the foreboding frown, I can feel creasing my serenity before any in our party notice it and remark upon it. I turn to my beloved wife. Even by the standards of this place, the Levant and my dark-skinned people, she is dark-complected, and she is peerless by any land's standard of beauty. Her hair, adorned only by a simple diadem of silver, falls in inky black rivulets like a woolen cowl around her shoulders. My friends would prefer that she kept it covered with something like an actual cowl, especially for these celebrations sacred to our people and not to hers. But they don't love her like I do. I was worried, however. I wasn't sure how she would dress tonight. She can be ostentatious. There is a reason that my enemies call her the Queen of Sheba, after all, and it isn't only that she looks like an Ethiopian princess as far as these backward, ignorant people know. God bless them. I am pleased to see, however, when I pause to take time to drink in her beauty, that she chose for tonight a simple gown and no jewelry. My friends may not love her the way I do, that is to say, boundlessly, but they cannot be displeased with my peto tonight. I smile. Not tonight. Her eyes seek out mine, confusion bright in their emerald fires. Are you sure this is the only way, Mary? Are you sure this is the only way, Mary? I ask her. I am sure. But are you positive? Only a fool is positive. Or so you always say, Robert, she says, sighing. Her brow lifts after a moment, however, her face softening with concern. You aren't being funny. I thought, what is wrong? Are you beginning to doubt? To doubt? I laugh, softly, leaning my bearded cheek against her fingers. then taking and squeezing them. No, I am the incarnate Son of the God. I do not doubt. Not that, not my purpose. I am concerned that this all will not go as you believe. These men are simple. Dosing them like this. They believe that tomorrow I'm going to do some kind of Joshua shit. Trumpets, miracles, the works, and that the tyranny of Rome is going to come crumbling down that easily around and before us, when in truth Jericho was a long, long time ago. I have no ark, no magic trumpets. We will make our ark. We will make our artifact, Robert. Then that will not be true. The walls of the temple will fall long before Rome does. Her eyes bore into mine as only hers ever have, like she cannot just read my thoughts, but sift through their pages as I do. You've seen this. I level my gaze, pulling my lips into my cheeks in something like a grimace, but not exactly disdain. Not everything I say is prophecy. Beto laughs in my face, gently, but you are the son of the God, Robert. Your second thoughts are only natural, my love. Mary, they will waver, Robert. We have discussed this often. When the cult grows too large in a lifetime, it dies when the charismatic leader dies. I sigh. She's repeating one of my maxims. I know, but I look at the untouched food and drink before me. I'm no longer aware of the sounds of my friends nor the motions of their merrymaking, and I don't want to go over this again. Hero cults begin with the death of the hero, and they can live on forever. She pulls my gaze back to her emerald fires. Right. If you want to capture an ethical system for all time, you do it with the death of the hero. That is why we are planning an elaborate sacrificial rite, why such a rite must be performed. By me. I know. Mary, really. I have already agreed. Everything is in motion. And I couldn't back out now if I wanted to. Do you? I will never love it when you do that, I answer. She puts her hands on my cheek. You will not have time to comprehend its utility in this life. Do you want to back out? I do not. Fateful words. My skin tingles, and I know I will live to regret them. It must be genuine, I say, all but muttering. All of it, or they will never believe. It's too easy to fake, too much better to fake it than to let them do what they're going to do to me. This is good, what you say. If you want the message to transcend your life, then we have to control for your death. Robert, you have set yourself up as the enemy of one of the greatest powers the world will ever see. You knew this before we came here, and now the whole of Jerusalem saw you proclaim yourself. I know, Mary. I was there too, remember? I interrupt. Not very patient of me. I've heard her say this too many times, and tonight, it's all a culmination of all prophecy in the guise of my people's most ancient covenant moment with the God. Yes, if we can convince the too stupid for life, don't worry about them. Plato indicates my friends as they carry on in their way, the way of Galilee peasants enjoying the upper floor of a big city rich person. I smile fondly at them. The mystery cults routinely dose initiates. They are perfectly safe and in more than capable hands. Yes, but the practitioners of the rites aren't supposed to also be dosed. That is not always true, and I will be there, undosed, she reminds me, placing emphasis on the word with her eyes and my hand on her belly, whereupon I realized that the capable hands she meant were not mine, but hers. Right, Mary. Are we creating a mystery cult? Or are we showing a new way to do religion? The difference, every cult has its mysterium, its secrets. Ours need not be any different. No hero lived a truly public life. Not everyone needs to know everything about everything. Posterity need only know that you are without sin and that you have lived blamelessly. I will guide you all the rest of the way. Mary. I sigh and look back at her, into her fiery emerald eyes. That's what I'm afraid of. I look at our daughter. seated between her grandmothers. She turns 13 today, too young to be here now, but her last chance to see me as a man, whole and hale and fully alive. My darling Miriam, that I can't keep your children and your word safe in your absence, Peto asks. I feel the edge to Peto's tongue. That I can't keep you safe if I'm dead, I correct her. Lying. That I won't be here to see Miriam grow into a woman proud and brave like her mother. I believe in you, Mary. I do. But you believe I will fail after you're gone, or that I will drive the religion in a direction you would not like to see. You don't trust me. I avoid her eyes. They are simple, Mary. A simple folk from a simple folk. Easily frightened, more like sheep than culture heroes. And we know that at least one of them must betray me. There can be no other way. They are so ignorant. Will they turn immediately on one another when I am gone? Or will they unite to destroy you? You know they whisper Sheol Obe of you behind your back like it's a curse. And it is, on their lips, believe me. They ask me why it is that I love you more than I love them, and when I tell you that you understand me in ways that they cannot. The influence of the Greeks and Romans already runs so deep in them that even they, men whom I saved from the zealot graveyards, the prophets and judges have warmed to that since before they were prophets and judges. Israel has forgotten the face of her mother. I am afraid they will not follow your lead after I am gone. They will forget my face as they have forgotten their mother's. What happens, Mary, really? What is going to happen when we show the way to the goddess? When we expose her from the safety and mystery of the darkness of the Holy of Holies for the world of men to see? Will they tear at her body like wolves? Or will they ravage her and abandon her for dead? You believe these are the only options. You fear the Roman dogs this much. I fear neither Rome nor individual Romans. I fear that these are the only outcomes. What more dare I hope for? That they replace her with me. Peto's face hardens, defiant that this should ever come about. She does not have to say it. I know. She will die before allowing the son to replace his mother. You speak evil into being when you do this, Robert. You should only speak good things, whether they're true or otherwise. Pretty lies, kind untruths, Mary. If I do not confess my fears now, they will consume me when I am most vulnerable. Peto nods, the emerald fires of her eyes dimming solemnly as though for just a moment she forgot how this all begins, too. I'm afraid the world is not ready for this thing I have come to do. With that, I gesture to the slaves to put the bread and wine in the empty space before me. Before they've left, I slip each of them 3 drachma. Not much. Not enough to clean my soul of the sin of commanding humans like trained animals. Itself the sin of carelessness, and simony a worse sin yet. But more than the wages of slaves, and as much as I have on my person. More than I should have. More than I will ever need again, at any rate, after tonight. I observe as the slaves move around the table, tapping on the shoulder each member of our party who is not either my wife, one of my 12 companions, or the Ancient of Days. That is, the old man who taught me the secrets of what I know, the leader of that occult scoleo of Magi and masters, who once ordered the world and after whom I would model my own. What? I don't know. There isn't a word for what they want me to build yet. Do the work and let the philosophers figure out what to call it after, I remind myself. The Ancient of Days is standing in the back of the room, to my left. I glance at him. His waist-length white beard and bald pate could be carved of stone. He gives no sign so much even as of life. I am not convinced that any of my friends, nor Peto for that matter, can see him the way I do. I realize only after the last of those tapped have climbed wordlessly to their feet and are headed for the door that Miriam is looking at me with big, wet daughter's eyes. I shake my head. Her lip quirks like she's going to pout. and I sense the presence of her mother beside me. Giving her a father's slow blink, I gesture with my forehead to the door. Please? I mouth. She rolls her eyes and stands. She cannot. She must not yet, know what is going on or what is going to happen tonight. I am proud of her, though. She doesn't scrape her chair against the floor or otherwise make any kind of scene. Her protest is purely silent and devastating to my heart. Regal in her petulance, just like her mother. The door closes behind her and I turn to behold my friends. Just the 15 of us now, I think. How many of you will be written out of the story in the coming years? How many of you will get characterization at all? And again, at this supper, there's only one way to find out. Coughing a polite clearing of the throat, I stand and clap my hands together once, gently. I have all their attention already. All this does is indicate that it's time to cut any residual chatter short. The floor, as they say, is mine. It has been good to see you all enjoying yourselves tonight, I say, meeting 12 pairs of eyes in turn. The Ancient of Days nods sagely, more than most of what he has done since setting me loose on my ministry. The road has been a long one, that way which brought us here, to Jerusalem, holy city of our forebears. My 12 friends thrust their cup in the air, to cries of, here, and damn right. I smile, waiting for their cups to return from their lips to the table. Our ministry has not been without either its trials nor tribulations. Yeah, remember that one Pharisee? Blah, 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 Caesar's tax. One of my friends reminisces to rounds of laughter from the others. Give unto Caesar what's Caesar's, a second of them cries out, holding now his knife in the air. Thank you, Peter. Judas. I eye the knife. You brought it to dinner, did you? You expecting something bad to happen tonight, Judas? The men smile sheepishly, their cheeks red with drink and with the childish embarrassment of speaking out of turn in synagogue. The knife disappears. Would that it weren't already in my back as I speak. But we are all here, I continue, meeting each man's eyes in turn, my palms held out at my sides as though I would embrace each of them. Thank God, we are all healthy. Judas, I am sorry about your brother. The Romans, But it's not about the Romans tonight. Friends, brothers, this night is about us. Tonight we give thanks as the teacher bade us. Eat, drink, be merry. Life is short, the suffering available to us immense. But God, my Father, has seen to it that his angel, death, should pass over us once more, for one more night of worship at least. I smile. I do not toast, nor do I look to my teacher for approval. I will not find. Is it the time for preaching? One of my friends asks, a little more drunk than I might have imagined. I stifle a chuckle. Tonight, however, also marks the end of the good times, the easy times. After tonight, you will look upon this night as the night when everything changed. Nothing will ever again be the same. Not for you, not for the rest of the world. Not after tonight. History will forever after this night remember our deeds, your deeds. They will look back on their times and they will know that it all began right here with the 12 of you tonight. Their eyes are rapt upon me. God, my Father, has seen fit to once more send his reaping angel upon the world, that messenger, death, just as he did in Egypt all those generations ago. And just as he did in Egypt for our ancestors in exile on this Passover night so many generations ago, he has seen fit to call upon me like he did our ancestor Moses, that author of our teachings, that hero of our people, to make a new sacrifice, to mark their souls in sacred blood and turn away that reaper, death, from the door to their hearts. Fear shapes their faces like children around the hearth. This time, that angel, death, is not reaping all the firstborn among the land, nor even the firstborn of the unrighteous. God is not sending plagues upon this land to prove neither to Caesar nor to his chosen people his might. He has already sent me, and I am here not to speak words of peace, but to swing a flaming sword of fire. I come to mete out his justice. God is taking all the lives of the unclean with this reaping. Into hell shall he cast all of the world, just as he did those watchers, those fallen angels, Shimyaza and Azazel and Sabaoth and all their unclean ilk. Gird yourselves, brave men of Judah. Listen, hear me, for when I speak, so too speaks the Lord God, my Father and your heavenly Father, the creator of this very universe. Only Judas flinches. Just like Aaron by way of Moses, God has called upon me to reach out my hand to each of you, my kin, and God's love. I offer each of you his mercy, my brothers in the Holy Spirit, my brothers in the covenant of God, my brothers of the 12 tribes of Israel. But heed me and hear carefully my words. If you take my hand again, and we are joined as one, my eyes travel the long table, finding each man in turn. My hand, indeed, I realize, stretched out as if offering it to them. I avoid so much as looking in Peto's general direction. God's wrath comes also with his mercy. Come, unite as one nation among yourselves, and in my name speak the holy words of the Lord our God. And in my name profess, and I say you will conquer the entire world. They cheer at my pause, getting myself worked up, and they're drunk. Not all of them, as it turns out. But Robert, Savior, we have not seen the kingdom of heaven, not like you. What have we to teach the world when we know nothing of its mysterion? Yes, Messiah, do you call us to ministry and not to war with Rome? We are not teachers, we are fighting men and fishers. Are we meant to open our mouths and pray that God will speak through us? What if his language is unintelligible to the human ears of our audiences? Or are we meant to believe that every thought we have is righteous because of our association with you, Christ? And what about when you're gone? I smile at the volley of questions and nods and the eager eyes which accompany them, raising my hand to cut off the last. I wish they wouldn't call me things like Messiah or Savior. I'm just me. But that's a fight I lost a long time ago. Christ is fine. It's descriptive enough. I might even take it as my official surname, assuming I survive this thing, or the resurrection Peso talks about is literal. I'm not sure it's going to be. In fact, I'm pretty convinced that once I'm dead, I'll be dead for good. Thomas, Luke, Matthew, James, and John, of course. Thank you for your questions, friends. The Lord has seen fit to provide me with their answers in advance and to make them known to you in the most personal way for each of you. You see, I have wrestled with them myself, just as Jacob did for 40 days and for 40 nights, as you know, in the wilderness of his father Isaac and his father Abraham. You have not seen the kingdom for yourselves. This is true. Tonight will change that. We will take you to meet your God, my Father, tonight, as only the prophets and miracle workers and Sholob of the past have. And tomorrow you will go forth and conquer the terror of history. What if we're not ready? Will we have to go into the wilderness too? What of the coming kingdom? The Lord God has spoken to me. He has said that tonight is the time. If you were not ready, he would not have caused you to be by my side until now, and I would not have called you to be gathered with me here. Now, I would have dismissed you as I did those others who supped with us tonight. Now, I look at them, feeling like a general at a strategy table more than any kind of prophet. Events have and will continue to arrange themselves according to his will, according to the cosmic plan, the plan which I have seen with mine own eyes and which God has laid out before me like a map. The scales of fate will tilt in our favor. I pause, meeting each of their eyes and impressing upon them all the truths of my words. Then I regard the bread and wine before me. This bread, I say, is my body. Subchapter 2.
I've been talking for a while. About what, I don't know and can't hear. But people in the garb of Galilee fisher people at all have begun to gather before me, some 10 men and women, and maybe as many as 15 children. When I noticed the rather large and quite visibly agitated man making his way from a boat recently pulled ashore, I turned to him, halting my sermon, and smile warmly. "By the grace of God, well met, friend," I say. "All right," he grumbles to the crowd like a sheepdog displeased with his flock when he's within 4 paces of me, an easy earshot of the gathering behind me. "The Sabbath was yesterday. It's time to be working." I smile, opening my arms, hands low at my waist, as for an embrace. He stops just short of a conversational distance and crosses his arms confrontationally across his chest. I can't help but notice the oversized knife at his hip, in perfect proportion to his forearms, and biceps, and chest, and shoulders, and the overall bigness of him. Nor can I miss the men approaching at his back. "Forgive me if I disagree, friend," I say, my voice warm and smooth, but lacking all honey. "This is the day that the Lord our God and Father hath made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. Please, take some of this, our daily bread, and let us give thanks in communion, as a community of servants faithful to the one true God." "We aren't Essenes or whatever those crazy sects call themselves. That stuff you're talking about is for Sabbath and putting children to bed. This is a work day." He glares at the girl bringing him a loaf of bread. The girl drops the loaf and scurries behind her mother's skirts. "Now, Simon," the woman begins to chastise him. Then he levels that glare on her, and she bites her tongue. To the crowd, this Simon says, "You all know the law. God worked for 6 days before he took his rest. You all know what Torah says." The assembled do not disperse, but they do look mighty guilty for it. The bravest of them meet this Simon's ire with meek courage, and I love them. The rest look to me. "Why don't you tell us what it says?" I suggest with my friendliest smile. Shortly, Simon does the same. "Who are you, that you would distract these people from their work?" "I'm no one. I want so badly to laugh, and I want even more badly not to be punched in the face. I am who I am. A son of man is all." There are noises in the crowd. The clever children murmur to their slower friends where their parents can't hear what is said. But I know what's being said. They all do. There are a few delayed, muffled gasps. Simon silences them with a thrown glare, then wrinkles his nose and brow at me, like I or something about me stinks to high heaven. "Then who is your father? A Pharisee would know better than to talk like that." Then his simple face, really that of a bearded boy, all surface-level sincerity, darkens with suspicion. "Are you a Samaritan or something? We don't want any—" "I am not a Samaritan." I do laugh now, confident there will be no violence. Not that that would be a bad thing. "My Father is the Lord God of your people, of our people, the God of Abram, Abraham, of Isaac and Jacob, the same God who delivered his people in the time of the flood, and again who delivered them from the lands of Egypt and of Babylon." I extend my hand to him again. "Take my hand, friend. I will show you." Simon's hands fall to his sides. Then they clutch at his chest. A particular fear is palpable about him, like a violet cloud or even an aura. "Simon, right?" I ask. "You're claiming to be some kind of Messiah," he stammers, unchecked bewilderment in his face. "I am making no such claims. I claim nothing of myself. I am what I am. Do not take my words at face value. Faith value." I reach out my hand, all but grabbing his belt. "Take it. If our God, my Father, who art in heaven, Yahweh," more than a few of the assembled gasp at my speaking the forbidden name of the God, "if your God does not speak to you, I will leave and take my blasphemy with me. And if he does," I can see in his face that this is the worst of all possible outcomes for poor Simon. "I am sorry, friend," I think, trying not to let my face show my amusement. "You chose the wrong day to chase away an itinerant preacher, and, it would appear, the wrong preacher. Lie, if you like, if you can. Accuse me of Sheol sorcery, or of the worst sort of witchcraft. And again, I will leave. Or stone me, if you like. I say this to the assembled, actually, I realize, the still assembling crowd. It seems that everyone nearby wants to know what's going on now. And you will leave these people, Hashem's people, alone? I nod. You have my solemn vow in the name of, I think that's enough. Taking Adonai's name in vain, don't you? Hashem. I agree. The assembled are staring at my hand as though I hold in my palm visible, and maybe I do, an orb of God's mystery, especially those who have already taken my hand for themselves this day. Yahweh works in mysterious ways, after all. Who knows what they are? Simon takes my hand. Nothing happens. Damn it. Not again. I hear myself think. This always happens. It never works when I need it. He looks up at me, the beginning of an I fucking knew it smirk in his beard. When his eyes meet mine, he gasps, and they go white. They do not roll up into his head. The pupil, the iris, the lens, all the visual apparatus are just no longer there, as though they've gone someplace else. Who knows what they see there? I'm sitting among friends, 12 of them, and my wife. Simon is there, except I call him Petros now, which is strange, because that's not a word. It's a masculinization of the Greek word Petra, rock, which itself is strange. I have too many Simons to keep track of them all, don't I? A pair of slaves place a loaf of bread and a jug of wine to either side of me, then make themselves scarce. I'm almost surprised by them, but I remember this, although I know it hasn't happened yet. I'm fixated on Petros. He's so happy. He won't be for long. He dies, crucified like a common criminal, upside down, because of me. I shouldn't know that, but I do. I'm about to stand up, to clap my hands. Simon falls to his knees, releasing the grip on my hand, and the vision's grip on me. As soon as he's aware of where he is, Simon wraps his arms around my leg, pressing his face to my knee, just like the others, who are sanctimoniously nodding. My king, my God, I am unworthy of your presence. Please, I demur, looking to the crowd. People are watching. You're embarrassing me, Simon. Simon scrambles to get his bearish bulk off the ground and upright. It's like watching a stone golem come to life. I will put the name of God in your mouth, and together we will liberate the world from the yoke of Ongramanyu, Ha-Satan. Join me, Simon, I say, putting my hands on his shoulders, and I will name you Petros, the rock on which we will anew rebuild this world. You others who are wise enough to see what God, my Father, has shown fit for you to see, who have heard from my lips to your ears the voice of the one true God, throw down your nets and come with me to learn to be fishers of men, or I eye the sword, which is Simon Peter's knife. Then I look significantly back to him and those few others. Forget about catching in nets and slaughtering the helpless. Forget about catching in nets and slaughtering the helpless and the too stupid for life. I will teach you instead to be as David, a shepherd to his flock. If I cannot teach you to be as Job, the most righteous of all fathers to ever live on the earth. If I'm to follow you, teacher, Simon Petros says, I must know your name. Am I to call you Rabbi? If you must call me anything more than Son of Man, call me Yesu, friend Petros. Yesu, Petros. He leans in close to me, covering his mouth with the back of his hand, and exclaims like I am ignorant, These are Greek names, and from feminine roots. What is this sacrilege? Petros, my friend and first apostle, I have not come with the law in my hand, but a flaming sword. It is the way of the Messiah, of the Son of Man, to break the strictures, to show a new way for his flock, his family. We will not reconcile ourselves with the Greco-Roman world. Do you hear me? Nor will we do so with the Pharisees or the Sadducees or Maccabees or Samaritans or any King Herod. My voice has grown to a shout, and I lower it. I'm still talking to one person after all, even if I want to be heard by all those assembled. Not just this crowd either. but every single person, living or yet to be, will know my fame. We will burn it down, but we will not do so from without, as outsiders and strange desert priests, hermits, monks, not like the Buddhists and the Hindi. No, we will find a new way, our own way. We will utilize and appear to be following their signs and symbols, their very cult, to our ignorant brothers, and to the future, which will necessarily be ignorant of what I am saying and what you are hearing right now. We will be indistinguishable from them. We will turn their philosophia against them. We will perfect it, and we will perfect civilization in God's image by doing so. The ashes must not be salted, however. The lands we will take from them will be done so in the name of the Lord, our God, Yahweh, who demands that we live in the land as we did in the garden, with love, compassion, and respect for all living things. We will show them how the world must be tended as a garden with love. I put my hand on Petros's cheek and Subchapter 3. I am in prison. There is only blackness and pain. My body lies bruised and battered on a cold stone floor. I am beyond prayer now, beyond thought. I look forward to the death the Roman dogs will soon release me to. They will tire of their play, eventually. I hear a noise, talking, then I can hear the faint dragging of sandals on stone. I don't know how long I've been here, long enough to know those aren't Roman footfalls. Feeling more than seeing a light approaching me, I open an eye. Petros. I breathe, a smile bringing fresh agony to my ruined face at finding my dearest friend looking down at me. There is no mistaking the horror and revulsion he feels at finding his Messiah broken in this way. You should not have come. My God. Petros curses, lifting his little candle higher to better see me. It would have been better for us all to die fighting the garden for you than for you to die like this, executed as a common criminal. I try my old laugh, but I am too weak. Instead, I groan and begin the agonizing labor of pulling myself up to him. Savior, please. Petros's voice catches in his throat, and I know it is because he doubts. Any of the others, and I would not. But for Petros, I do what should not be possible. I drag myself up the heavy iron bars until I am in a position approximating a kneel. Oh, Petros, I agonize. How well I know you. I wonder whether later generations will sanctify the blood I'm oozing all over the metal. The holy bars of Jesu's prison. It makes me want to sigh. Petros kneels. I reach out to take his face. You don't understand, Petros. You can't. There's no time. You must follow Mary's lead. You must. I will not. He recoils out of my reach, stiffening his spine, grimacing. You will, just as you will deny knowing me when Pilate will round up as many of my followers as will give themselves to him. Let it be none of them, God willing. Savior, I swear to you, I will never, please. Petros, I say, slacking against the bars. I hurt so bad. Arguing with you, when I know better than you, has been among my greatest joys in this life. It really has. Truly, you are the rock our new world will be built upon. Of us, you are the only one strong enough, just as you have been the one to whet my flaming sword. Hey! A voice I recognize as belonging to a guard calls out. If all three of you want to see him, you better make it quick, you hear? He's not supposed to have visitors. Then to whoever is still there with him, 30 pieces of silver. 30 pieces of silver, don't buy that much. Come on, give me a break, guys. As he says, I say, and I am tired. Too tired to grapple with you, Petros. Just Hear me. It's good that you will deny me. I've seen God has shown me the way of the weave. Do you hear me? I take his hand in mine. He resists, but he allows me. As he nods, I can see that he cannot comprehend. But he has time, and there will be a rival to whet his sword. One day, Paul is still yet Saul, and there are as yet no Christians for him to get kicked out of their homes. Soon enough, 6 years? There is still time. Deny me until the time is right. Teach others to deny me. Lord, I will not. Petros, you must. They will persecute you. They will chase you up any tree. They will burn you out of any hole. You must listen to me this once. You must. Our people must find another way or they will be destroyed. If that happens, then my way will disappear forever. Is that what you want? For this, all of this, to be in vain? Petros hangs his head in obvious defeat. I know he won't listen to me. It will take too long for him to understand. But I have to stop him. If he convinces everyone who follows me to get themselves martyred, the Gentiles must hear my message too, Petros. Petros stands, turns his back on me. Petros, wait, please. Men need something they think is worth dying for. Don't give them an excuse to die, Petros. Don't let them believe the kingdom is better than this life. Don't let our best and our brightest go off and get themselves killed. This is not how we bring Rome to his knees. Please, they will follow you. I'm reaching through the bars with all my pitiful strength, begging him to turn back to me, to stop this torment, something the Romans could and would never get me to do. He does, finally, after he has walked almost all the way away, when I can no longer see him, only the tail of his light around a bend in the way. You aren't bringing him to his knees, he snarls, quietly enough that the guard will not hear, but I have no trouble. You are going to die tomorrow. Caesar's going to stomp your corpse into the dirt of history, and he isn't going to stop until you're dust. You and your memory. And you know what that means? It means that people like me, the people who followed you and believed you were our Messiah, that you were the Savior of our people, that you are the Son of our God, leaves all of us looking like idiots forever believing in you, doesn't it? You have lost the way, is the last thing he will say to me in this life, spitting and shaking his head like he thinks I'm the king of fools too. And maybe I am. Petros will pray to me often when I'm gone. I wonder whether he regrets it. Probably that's why he has them kill him how he does. Knowing these things doesn't make my friend's words hurt any less, like a killing spear in my side. I do not protest. I do not lie down and die. I wait once his light is gone. I know another will approach soon. I hear it before I either see or feel it. Thomas. I smile. I want to embrace him, but do not move. I'm not sure I even can anymore. His face is set, prepared for what he will soon see. Maybe Petros told him of my condition. But when his light shines on my naked body, he either can or does not hide his reaction. With great sympathy and compassion, he lowers himself to his knees. Does it hurt, Lord? At the moment, I look at the youngest of my apostles into his beardless boy's face. It does not. You seem to have brought more than your share of my Father's mercy to me today. Thank you. Why, Lord? The words are out of his mouth as soon as there's nothing left to say, as is his habit. I do not want to stifle my laughter, so I do not. It hurts, agonizes. If I have any unbroken ribs remaining, it does not feel like it. But it is right to laugh when the soul is filled with joy such as mine is. Do you know why they call you Thomas, Judas? I have never asked. You've not. It's because you and we are twins, with God as our Father, twins in spirit and heart and mind. You alone understand me well enough to doubt. You alone comprehend God's mercy well enough to love. You alone want to know why and how come about everything. You alone are fit to lead when I am gone. This is not the end. Lord, no. And because of that, you must leave Israel. You must go east, beyond the lands of Canaan, into the lands of the Buddha and the Vedas, as I did when I was your age. And there you will teach of me. And what of Rome, brother? I smile. Don't worry yourself with Rome. He will fall. Simon Peter will take my way to the Palatine Hill and from there rebuild the world. But Lord, why? Oh, Thomas, the Gentiles must be shown the way, that they might follow too. He nods. And if I do not trust him to guide our people to you and your throne in the kingdom, compose a book of my sayings. Leave it for posterity, I say. Remember me through my words, and the way will reveal itself to them. Yes, Lord. I can see that he likes this idea. Go, I say. I will see you again, if not in this life, and what comes after. Send who remains before you get yourselves caught and join me in these other cells. He squeezes my hand, and then I'm alone in the dark again. Until, after a strangely long moment of silence, Judas, the one they will call Iscariot, speaks at my back. Forgive me, Messiah. Forgive me. I open my eyes. I must have drifted off. A smile takes my entire face and my pain is forgotten enough that I turn and I reach through the bars, taking with the last of my strength my dear friend in an embrace. His body shudders and convulses, racked with sobs. He mutes against my neck. Judas, my friend, please. You are owed no forgiveness, but many thanks. I can no longer hold myself upright. He doesn't let me go. I slump against the bars. Too much of this thing I am doing is exoteric, for appearances only. A play, a drama, a tragedy. Our people have become too much like the Greeks and the Romans, Judas, and they too like the Egyptians and the Babylonians. The old stories no longer lead them to their God, and they forget how not to profane his temples. When I found you, you wanted to throw your life away on the point of a Roman sword. Now look at you. You are a lover of God like no other man alive, like no other man to ever live, I say, and a man of tremendous and terrible action. I am so proud of your courage. Your name will be remembered alongside mine among those who ended tyranny for all of time. Your brother, I will be remembered as a vile betrayer. They will remember that because the Romans killed my brother for being Jewish. I sold you to them as some sort of revenge. Simon Peter already says it to my face. It took spending every one of those pieces of silver, bringing him here to keep him from stoving my head in. He shakes his head against my neck. I chuckle against his shoulder. It doesn't even make sense to hear you say it. You will be remembered by the truly faithful as what you are, the greatest of my apostles. If not you, one of the others would sell me out eventually. And then, when I am surprised and vulnerable and all is at risk of being lost, I was neither surprised nor vulnerable that night, was I? We might even have fought them off. No, you might not have. Judas laughs despite himself. You would have died. You were all wasted. What did you feed them? We could have died honorably, like Scythians. I hope he can feel the pride I am beaming. Yes, all is not lost. This is the way, Judas, the only way. I do not love that I will be remembered. Then write a book, my friend. Tell them what really happened. Tell the story the way you see it. But for now, go. I love you, Brother Judas. Never forget that. Never forget that. He releases me. Subchapter 4. I fall to my knees in soft dirt. seizing Peto's skirts and hands clasped in desperate prayer. My face is a rictus mask, my mouth a frenzy. Terror courses like blood through me, and I see and know nothing but the cool of the night and the scent of olives. I am raving. Stop them. Mary, you must stop them. They do not understand. They cannot. I die in agony and they chase after me. They refuse life, love. They hide away from the world. No, Mary, no. Look at what they're doing to it. I'm wailing, screaming, clawing at her skirts. Mary, no, they get it all wrong. Perversion, sacrilege, blasphemy, murder, all in my name. Oh, God, horror of horrors. Rob, snap out of it, Peto is saying, gently cradling my face. I blink my eyes, and I'm looking into her emerald fires. Oh, Mary, I say. We are exposed to the open air of a starry night in the olive garden of one of my mother's wealthy friends. My apostles are scattered throughout, having their own experiences, of which I am totally unaware and for which I no longer care anything, if I ever actually did. It's so terrible. The future. We have to stop this. There must be another way. We can fake it. We can't stop now, Robert. The emeralds of her, Peto's eyes, always so alive with burning fires, are a naked blade drawn from icy water. She caresses my face, and I must restrain myself from flinching away from her touch. I'm suspicious of her, of my beloved Peto. But why? Judas brings his soldiers to arrest you even now. Hey, Ghost. Hey, Guguk. I look to the spot where so many times in my dreams I have stopped Petros from getting himself spit on a Roman spear. No, not yet. There's still time to flee. There must be another way, I insist. Robert, stop this. Steel your heart, husband. Your soul must be. Steel melts in the fires of hell, my love. We are wrong to do this. Wrong to do it in this way. Better that I were a diamond, transparent and true. Peto's fingers curl into my beard, pulling painfully. Diamonds are made in the bowels of the earth, forged by heat and pressure. You do not have that sort of time. You have already denied and refused that life, that teaching, that power. You must make now, with the tools and the materials which you have chosen to accept, and their limitations. She blinks, and it's like her eyes look right through me to something I cannot imagine. This is your only chance, husband mine. You have made sure of that. I have made sure of that. And I do not have the time to wait. I push myself to my feet. You don't understand, Mary. We failed. What must be done will be done. If not of your volition, then by my will, Robert Longshore, Fulcrum of fate. The way must be sought, and it will be found by you in this life or any in the infinite cycle of your being. No, we become Rome. Worse, I know. What? I take a step back from her. My head spins from the ergot and the bread and wine. I think I hear shouts, but I'm staring at Peto, dumbfounded. She's no longer a human woman, but a giant snake in Peto's clothing, with Peto's emerald fire eyes. It is the only way. She approaches me, bathed in shadows cast by the sinister silvery moon. My sisters and I will be liberated from our prison, and you are going to set us free. Subchapter 5. I'm on the back of a donkey. A memory sequence in a dream? I hear myself hypothesize. What is that, Robert? Peto asks me at my side, and I realize that she is guiding the beast, and by extension me, down the great main street of my people. There are people gathered to either side of the street, not densely, like we are a triumph in my honor, but no one is quite sure who I am, which is close enough to be true, except only Peto and I are in my train as far as I can see. I don't look behind, and only I am mounted on a simple donkey, unadorned even by a blanket. If I might expect to see palm fronds or other symbols of a joyous celebration among those gathered, I do not. But I do not expect to see them. Robert? I'm not sure, I answered. What did she say? Sorry. What did she say? What did it mean? How are you distracted right now? She hissed. You said a memory sequence in a dream, out loud, like you were asking me, like you were trying to explain something to one of us. One of us? I'm not sure, I say with a shrug, looking down at her. Disappointed I can't see her cleavage through the neck of her dress. I knew we should have gone with a pony. The prophecies must be fulfilled to the letter, or they are not fulfilled at all. Casting my eyes around me, I have to work to keep my face as still and blank as those faces I meet as we pass. Some of them whisper among themselves. None of them avoids my eyes. All of those eyes, whether they look on me with skepticism, hostility, or yearning, are filled with a quiet desperation, the desperation of a damned and conquered people. Not all of them, actually. Some of the eyes which stare at me do so from beneath Galei, the conical helmet ridged at the forehead and low and lipped in the back with the hinged cheek guard so visible, so visibly Roman, no matter how much of the design they stole from their ancestral enemies, the Celts. I almost admire them, the legionaries. I certainly am visually struck by their presence, the shining, personalized armor, all the red, like a promise of what is to come if we, any of us Jews, acts even remotely like today is a day of celebration. Blood. In just 42 years, not even 2 generations, we have gone from fighting to the death with sword and spear and improvised weapons to pretending this, one of our holy days, is just another day. From denying any and all Gentiles from the roasted meats of our festivals to desperate not to see our friends and families slain by drunk soldiers. We have long since been allowed to practice our ancient religion in peace by decree of the Imperator, Caesar Augustus himself. They look on, his legionaries. The standards in their hands may not be spears, but that does not in any way mean the men holding them aren't begging for a reason to reach for the swords always present at their hips. Let it be in peace, if also in jubilant silence, that we make our way through my amassed, oppressed people. I don't remember speaking, I whisper down to Peto. Well, keep a tighter rein on the chariot of your thoughts. I know my people are whispering to one another. I listen to their hushed voices. He's proclaiming himself king of the Jews. That's an act of war. No, it's symbolic. Wait, why? They'll kill him. On the back of a donkey? What's that all about? What kind of a Jew are you? Don't you read scripture? I'm asking you, smart guy. It's got something to do with some prophecy about the king of Israel. How can I know whether I'm dreaming? I look down at Peto. She's looking up at me, a concern that looks more like suspicion in the lines of her mouth and around her eyes. Or, if this is really happening, you can start by remembering the face of your mother. Subchapter 6. I am in inarticulable agony. Every part of me burns with the fires of laceration. I open my eyes. Breathing is difficult. I'm suspended high above a crowd. My wife and mother and teenage daughter are crying. But Miriam, my Miriam, a smile cracks my chapped, split, and bleeding lips. Miriam won't look away. She will lead them. She must. Don't mourn for me, Miriam. This is all for you. They will never expect a... I want to reach my arm out to her, but it won't move. That's right. They crucified me. How could I forget? Lost in prayer again, I guess, and memories of when things were still good, when Petros still believed. He's not here, is he? I can't see him. Of course I wouldn't. I told him to deny me. I remember. I try my hands again. The dogs. They nailed my hands to the wood. The pain is unreal. I can't even wriggle my fingers to... The tears come now. I've held them back. I hadn't cried out. Not once. Not as they beat me, as they put the crown of thorns on my head and beat that too. Not as they mocked me as the fitting king of Israel. Not as I dragged my crucifix to this hill, and no, not as they broke each of my fingers with their God-damned mallet after they nailed my palms to the wood. My palms! The savages! I can't even wriggle my fingers to tell my baby I love her. I cast my eyes heavenward. Ah! How could you do this to me, Father? I can't breathe. I'm those bastards, those worthless sons of whore bitches. I can't even tell her goodbye. Forgive them, Father, I cry. I scream with all the agony of my broken, dying body, with all the pain and all the rage of this life lived in vain. They know not what they have done. My head sags. There is no more air in my lungs, and I do not have the strength to draw more. I love you, I try to say. I love you so much. I don't know whether she heard me. 7. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to understanding. Part 2. The gateway to understanding. There is silence and darkness, the sweet embrace of nothingness. Except it's not nothing. I am here. The dreams ended sometime between hanging my head to die as the man Christ, the Son of the Father, and reciting unto a universe of absolute darkness the first poem of the Tao Te Ching. I know that I was dreaming and that I am now not dead and in whatever amounts for an afterlife. And that way you know things in dreams, when the poem begins again at the start, echoing, as it were, around in my head. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Ahead, I can almost convince myself I feel, although I still see nothing and have not come to the realization yet that there should be anything to feel. It's impossible to say where that line between the two states of consciousness, those states of waking and of dreaming, is, as I do not know in this time and place, and I cannot say now, more than 1,000 years later. Cannot, not because, like my very existence, it is forbidden, but because I don't want to get into it here. So won't, really. And I really am trying to keep this thing moving. Darkness within darkness. The words echo in that void, that liminality between those states of being. My eyes open upon it. The gateway to all understanding. I close them again. I listen again to the Tao Te Ching, pondering why that would really be playing in my head, and whether I should give it any significance. It's not unusual for me to have any number of competing ancient poems playing themselves out in my head. It's not like I could just turn on the radio back then. The question was never what they meant in their regular context, but what that part of my mind to which I have no access, but which is evidently working on problems I don't even know I have, wants to say to me. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. I sigh, and out of my throat and from my lips comes a word. Peto. I sigh. I'm sorry. It's like the breath of life first escaping the lungs of the clay man Adam. Like the prayer of the 13 gods of creation chanted to bring forth reality herself into being. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And I do not know why I have spoken it, nor what it means. Except I do. I know what the word means. What I don't know is where I heard it as a name. The dream plays itself again in my mind too long ago to be likened to a moving picture. I am lost in the memory of a 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 life I never lived. Is my imagination this good, or did I? Why? But why is not what we interrogate our dreams to learn. The waking me remembers that name, Peto, and her eyes, in a way entirely unlike knowing what one should be able to remember if dreams were a reality. I should know her if the thousands of dreams were real. I should know her mind, the feel of her body, the smell of her hair. But I do not. In my dreams, I love her like ours is a romance written and rewritten across 1,000 lifetimes, 1,000,000 adventures. And when I wake, she's gone, and all I'm left with is a word, and those eyes, and a bottomless dissatisfaction, a longing to be with her. Peto. Hearing myself say her name like I'm confirming it, like I want to commit it to memory, like it's the only clue I have toward ever having a snowball's prayer in hell of finding her. It's like I loved her once, and have since given myself some sort of blunt force amnesia. Like the pain of losing her was too great to bear without bashing my own skull in. That could explain my headache, actually. But I have never known her, have never loved her. I would remember where I saw those eyes. And what I remember is waking up from dreams in a doom. I am doomed to forget once more. If I had seen those eyes, why do I know that name then? I wish that the pain which answered this question came as anything of a surprise. Alas, I have descended now, enough from that heavenly, astral, other place wherein dreams reside, that those signals which ordinarily bombard a body are once again sensed by that noose pilot who is me. If I were operating some sort of cockpit, all of the alarms would be going off. Everything hurts. But that's not unusual, me waking up from dreams of pain to actual pain. Actually, the way I tend to fall asleep, it only makes the most sense. The pain I feel is mostly the formicacious needling of a body which has lost proper circulation below the brain. Again, not all that unusual for me. I'm upright. I'm able to figure that much out because, remember, wherever I am, it's completely dark. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to understanding. Dark enough that if I didn't know better, I'd almost think I was blind. I do seem to have shifted recently enough to prevent a truly horrific death, though. Quite literally waking up dead. I take a slow breath in through my nose, less to calm myself really. If I were any calmer, I'd be catatonic, which would be great, actually. Then to get a sense of where I am. That is when I am metaphorically hit in the face with an olfactory bouquet so familiar to me, that's the only explanation I can accept as to why I missed it. First, the overpowering smell of a man-sized cage box made entirely, floor, ceiling, and walls, of the most odoriferous, most expensive pine in Italy, from the trees of the Fiemme Valley, actually, a spot made famous long before, but also for being that spot where Stradivari got the wood for his guitars, or whatever he made. Then the melange of every conceivable sort of musty manuscript. I have them all. that statement is true enough to be a yes to your follow-up. These smells firmly locate me in my office as they pervade and define it. I'm stretching and groaning and settling into the idea that I'm awake for the day when my nostrils catch a whiff of that particular piney smell, which some would say pervades and defines me, cannabis. I couldn't and wouldn't say that about myself. It would truly undersell by too wide a margin how much I love opium. I wish that I could remark of or to myself that this dream and the disorientation in time and space which follow such vivid experiences was unusual for me, or even that the images, apparently memories or lucid imaginings of a life I cannot have lived, lingering like a burn on my retinas before my eyes, weren't the kind of thing I dealt with all the time. Because I totally would. And that's how I feel about it too. Like I'm dealing with it. Like these dreams of other people's lives are an illness, and if I can just find the right treatment, they'd go away. Actually, I remind myself, they had gone away. The cannabis and opium and were helping. It is unusual and remarkable for me to be having this dream. What am I saying? But I can't remark that, just like I wish I could say that the pain alone were in any way unusual, and that I'm not trying to ignore it in favor of the dream, just as I wish I could claim I wouldn't rather be where those emerald fire eyes are. Peto. The utter dark of this place doesn't help either. Darkness and darkness, the gateway to understanding. It doesn't help with any of it, actually. Not the pain racking evidently my entire body, not the spinning vertigo as my eyes and inner ear system flail, wildly I might add, to properly orient whatever me is in this context in 3 dimensions. Not the disconsolation of being more certain that I belong in that life fading from my inner vision to where dreams go to die than I do this one either. Peto is the Greek word for persuasion, right? I say out loud. Or temptation? Something like that. Translation is, I mutter this in Cumreg, a language I thought I'd forgotten. Tricky. Was I about to tell myself that translation is tricky, like I don't know, in the language of my father, no less? Instead of a what the hell is wrong with me sigh, I prefer voicing again that combination of pleasure and pain which is stretching out limbs and spine which have been wrongly slept on. In my case, for those unable to keep up, I've fallen asleep, not for anywhere near the first time, in my oversized, overstuffed black leather chair. Really, every goth kid's wet dream. Behind my desk, in my office. You're in Genoa. I remind myself in that dialect, intentionally as though I need the reminder, and it hasn't been my habit for nearly 2 years. Where you were last night, where you've been for 2 years. You aren't in the back of a carriage. Not anymore. Never again, if you like. And you weren't in Jerusalem. No one that dream wants you to believe. Was I, though? There? Was it just a dream? You most certainly are not Jesus. Get your shit together, man. Really, though, who talks to themselves like this? Narcissistic megalomania much? What? Except Peto isn't a name, he says out loud. Except it is, though. Sort of. It was the name of a goddess, and the names of goddesses are concepts. Who talks to themselves like this? What kind of person names their daughter Temptation? This isn't a real problem, and I don't need to solve it, especially not out loud. I'm not insane. Yet. I'm just having unusually vivid dreams. I tell myself. But what if someone walked in to me talking to myself? I'm also wildly sober, I realize. Let's pause for a moment and take stock before the rest of the day gets too far ahead of me. I don't know what time of day it is. The day is the 1st of summer. The year, as you know it, and as we might have counted it, is the 900th year of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. The place is Genoa, Italy. The age? Dark. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to understanding. Just as I'm thinking I know what will happen with all these aching, stiff joints and splitting headache, the door opens. I am not a private detective. And yet, at any rate, not for a long time, not yet, at any rate, not for a long time, actually. But there is one truism about which my work here and open door consulting detective work in general share, whether the door remains literally open or otherwise. You can never know when a client is coming, and it's never when it's convenient. I wince against the sudden column of blinding yellow light suddenly bathing me, annoyed by my inability to gauge the time of day by it, and my lack of secretary. I really should have 2 rooms, and someone to screen my callers. 8. Hey, you awake? Francis calls from the door. Of fucking course, it's fucking Francis. I half articulately grumble into the open collar of my silk shirt, half think sarcastically to myself. My hand finds the top left drawer of my desk, and inside it, a lozenge of opium. This, I make sure, makes its way under my tongue before I do anything else today. I'm not dealing with you sober. God damn, it's hot in here. He amuses himself from the door. Francis, I stop myself with a sigh. You can see I'm upright, and really, I hadn't noticed. I didn't ask if you're upright, you little prick. I asked if you're awake, he says. Then, under his breath, but making no attempt to go unheard, you grumpy fuck. Yes, Francis, I am clearly awake. I've pulled my wide-brimmed hat low on my brow by now, shielding my eyes from the light. Yes, I sleep in it. No, it's not comfortable. So they're open, my eyes, but I can see beyond the clutter atop my desk. I can't see beyond the clutter atop my desk. Hopefully it looks cool, though. No one ever mentions it. The hat, the shadows over my face in the dark. I know the desk doesn't look cool. A desk shouldn't look cool. It should look used. At least I'm not wearing the long leather jacket currently draped over the high back of my chair. I may have roasted to death inside it in my sleep. Yeah, well, you gonna light a candle or something? Why do you have to keep it so dark in here anyway? You know, someone of lesser valor than yours truly might think you in this place are creepy as shit. Just how creepy is shit, Francis? Is he really going to stand in the door and wait until fuck you, Rob, he says, stepping through like he's been here before, which, of course, he has. You don't know where the chair is by now, Francis? Why am I saying his name so much? I get myself to my feet. I need to stretch properly anyway. The door closes, and we're in the dark again. Then, after a moment wherein all I can hear is the sound of Francis's unsteady feet and my hand shuffling through my desk for a drag. You know I know where the damn... God damn... Followed by, and amid the unmistakable sounds of a fat man tripping over and then dancing with a wooden chair, but managing to keep his feet. Good on him. The legs knocking and screeching against the wood floorboards. The expensive wood floorboards. From the Fiemme Valley, he'd better not be scratching right now. He doesn't have enough debt to go into to pay for that. As he tries in vain to get the chair and his bulk stopped without either of them taking a tumble to the floor. Followed by more cursing in the vein of fucking goddamn motherfucking chair is. Francis, by the sound of it, has finally wrestled the chair to some kind of stasis. I try not to laugh, and am thankful for the darkness. Sort of. I would have enjoyed watching, but I would not have been able to enjoy him tripping over the chair in his blindness if he were not altogether blind. So 6 of one, 6 of the other. As it turns out, even returning some 1,100 years to watch it in person, as much as I am or have a person right now with which to watch, leaves me just as blind as I've always been. Flicking a light a drag, once I've got my smile secreted away, I stand and introduce the little flame dancing on its end to the pair of candles trisecting the mountain of manuscripts piled atop my desk. I'm listening to Francis get the chair back in its proper spot as I do this, but I don't have much attention to give him, besides stifling a smirk when he grumbles another series of assholes at me. You know, I say as much to myself as him, or you, I suppose. In the East, there are people who call themselves the Jain. They believe in a principle called ahimsa, or nonviolence, something like that. You could really learn from them with that chair. What did it ever do to you other than struggle under your fat ass? I give him a look. He's dropped himself into the chair and waving a hand at me like I'm not saying anything he hasn't ever heard before. Anyway, the Jains, they believe that fire is an incarnation of the pre- or proto-Vedic fire god, Agni. Every lit flame is, to them, the Jains, a giving birth to Agni, and every extinguishing is a killing of Agni, the actual god, not a metaphor. They believe this. Yeah, I know, you tell me every time, Francis says, clearing his throat. The short leg of his chair clicks, and I'm annoyed with him. Every single time. I don't really listen to him. I rarely do. I'm staring into one of the candle's flames now. I always thought Agni bringing fire from heaven in the form of a bird sounded an awful lot like the Prometheus story. Who cares? Stories are just stories, Francis says. And for just a moment, I hope the rickety chair will collapse beneath him. When it doesn't, I look at him properly. Francis is a fat, bearded Italian. Genovese, to be exact. Shocker, I know. And he looks the part. His unkempt beard, not the part, but visually what idiosyncratizes him, is grow long to hide the fat of his jowls and his multiple chins. From the prostitutes he harangues and the sharks whose loans he avoids repaying, and as greasy as the rings which pinch his sausage fingers. Greedy spittle flecks his bloated lips. My skin crawls. Kissing him must be horrific. I couldn't imagine those hands on me, the soft heft of his belly. Poor Regina. Along with the rings of gold and the gems of gemstone, the rest of his attire is fashionable and expensive, and lived in. He never changes any of it. Not the clothes, not the jewelry, not since I've known him. He may as well show the entire world at all times how much he likes to spend his wife's money. I figure. The wife-beater in public look won't be popular for his kind for far too long from now to be a relevant reference or funny to anyone but me. I guess that's one way to look at it, I say. Another is that fire's important. The moment man harnessed its power is the moment he became like his gods, assuming they pre-existed that moment. And if the gods want to take the credit for themselves, and if man wants to give it to them, who's it hurting? Pagan hoogity boogity. I smell beer on Francis's breath. Sure, fine, I say. When has he ever been a good enough Christian to dismiss anything as pagan? He's always been an equal opportunity asshole, sure. But the writers of the Bible thought it was angels who brought fire down to heaven, I continue, along with everything else animals don't do but humans do. Or as they put it, all iniquity. Where's Jesus say that in the Gospels? He doesn't, I groan. Who is this person? Then it's Jewish sorcery and I don't want to hear it. Who are you trying to impress, Francis? All right then, by that reasoning, the gospel writers were also Jewish sorcerers. What then? Who has any authority to you at all then? The red letters, the words Jesus spoke himself. I sigh. Those words weren't written until a century after his death, if he actually lived. You don't know that. I think of the Gospel of Thomas, a book I am meant to have handled. What do you mean they were Jewish? What do you mean they were Jewish sorcerers? The Bible's Christian. I mean, it wasn't written by Christians. There were no people who called themselves Christians when the books were first written, and the writers had read at least the first book of Enoch. Jude quotes from it. What do I care about the book of Enoch? Or Jude? Well, if you care as much as you're acting like you care about the Christian faith, you should care where it comes from, what the first Christians believed, and what's actually in it, if only so you can claim it's pagan hoogity boogity. Right. Is that a new phrase you learned this week or something? A pair of tallow candles, besides stinking, like just about everything else in that time and place, including Francis and me, do next to nothing as far as adequately lighting this space. But that's just how I want it. As it is, the flickering Agni spirits illuminate Francis enough that I can read his face, but poorly enough that he and any visitor to this space thinks I can't. I like it better that way. Woogity boogity. I'm frowning at him. What is the Book of Enoch then? What's in it? What's it about? Those are a big ask. The short answer is that it's the Jewish book which tells the story of how angels brought down all iniquity from heaven. I laugh. Subchapter 9. He blinks at me like I just blew a belch in his face. I'd ask how you doing, he starts, changing the subject, but I can tell you're in a mood. I'm fine, I snap. He always does this. What do you want? I haven't sat down yet, and I'm thankful for the stretches I'm doing to burn some of this agitated energy, and I really don't want to give the impression that I want to shoot the shit. Did you just wake up or something? God damn, you're a grumpy son of a bitch today. I am not grumpy, I grump. You know it's Callan DiMaggio, right? You could at least act like you're aware that people around you are trying to have a good time. Then why did you come here of all places, Francis? If you wanted a good time, I'm not a fucking prostitute. It's not what I hear about you. I hear you do anything if the coin's right. There's something there. I don't want to know what it is. Then, after a moment of apparent deep thought, he explains. It's Callan DiMaggio, Rob. Yes, I sigh, thankful for the opium on my tongue. If I can't make him leave, at least it makes his voice hurt me less. Celebrating the start of spring on the first day of summer makes so much sense. Francis looks at me like I'm stupid. What sense does it need to make, you boor? You asked yourself. Well, who's it hurting? Just because spring is past doesn't mean the tough times are past. Life's hard. Our work thankless. Callan DiMaggio is a chance to give back and to plant seeds for next year's sun. Why is Francis defending this pagan hoogity boogity? And when did he become a fertility cultist? Regina, what crazy shit have you introduced him to? Regina doesn't want children. Not with him. What do you know of hard, thankless work? I ask, lowering myself into my chair and trying to get comfortable. You married rich and spend her money like you found it on the street. He laughs at this, like I'm joking or like this truth is that funny to him. You think it's easy working with Saracens? Do you? Think it's easy? It's not easy working with the hereditary enemy of your people to keep them safe, Rob. And it really ain't easy being married to a worthless, dumb bitch. His nostrils flare. Sorry, I guess I don't work with them, do I? Negotiating with them. There is an angry light reflected in Francis's swollen, glassy eyes. Fine, he continues. My life is easy. If that's true, then your life is even easier. I do your work so you can sit in here looking all mysterious all day, every day. I even deal with your damn wife for you. Or she deals with me. Either way. I have to effort not to frown at him. I want a moog, but I don't want to have to offer him one. Something tells me I'm not going to want to wait him out. But it really isn't easy for the common people. Their lives are miserable most of the year. What have they got to look forward to, huh? Work, taxes, death, and Christian skins over pagan hoogity-boogity festivals. What is going on with you today, Francis? Who is this person, all philosophical and poetic? Is that what this is about? Is he upset about our arrangement? Since when do you give a damn about holidays, and especially the common people? When Francis pauses here, it's to give me an imploring kind of look, like he thinks he has or is attempting to convince me of something. I really do not want to try to guess what it is. I just want him to leave. Rolling the lozenge of opium on my tongue, I say, I didn't think you were religious. Religion? What's religion got to do with it? What's religion but a second-hand devotion? Give unto the gods what is the gods, that's what I say. They don't care what we do in this life other than that. If they exist at all, they have better shit to do about about they have better shit to worry about than whether I have been good or bad. Because they gave up on you a long time ago. Then what's all this business about giving thanks where it's due about? The All-Mother gives us spring that we might have summer to thank her. That's what they say. I scoff. I can't take all these words seriously in his mouth. Thank you for that. You're always in such a damn shitty mood. You know that? Just chill out. Come on now. I make you rich. I got you connections with the consuls. I keep you in contact with the Mohammedan Saracens. He didn't really do any of those things, but I let him believe what he likes. This time. He's my partner, after all. And sometimes you just let a man believe what he believes for the sake of the marriage. What's your problem today anyway, huh? A married man shouldn't need to get laid as bad as you do. What do you actually want, Francis? You didn't come by just to... It's fucking Colin DiMaggio, Rob! Do I need a better reason to visit my... Wait, don't tell me. You can't be out, can you? Yes, you need a better reason than Colin DiMaggio to come shoot the shit with me. You never do this. And you know you brought me some just a few days ago. Well... You gonna roll me one of them moom or you smoke or what? I blank. Oh, God, he's planning to stay a while. They're called moog. I correct his pronunciation of the Cumrag. Moog. Plural moogin. It means, I don't care about that. He laughs. It's Colin DiMaggio. Get me stoned. What are you doing in here all by yourself for anyway, huh? You can't go out and dance with a virgin like everybody else your age? Hell. She doesn't even have to be a virgin. They're just the best, you know? Ah, that's why he's all about the All-Mother this week. Virgins. I do not know. What are you, my father? I'm 25, not a child anymore, not all that younger than you, actually. 15 years is longer than you've been fully grown, he laughs. And I danced with more than a few virgins myself this week, so fuck you. So Colin DiMaggio is a few days in, it seems. That means it's also almost over. Have you been drinking? I ask, lowering myself back into my chair. It's Colin DiMaggio, Robert. The church only breaks out the good stuff like 4 times a year. Of course I've been. Yeah, I guess that was a stupid question. I'm not fact-checking his claim, though. Fuck you. And don't even know what time it is anyway. And you don't even know what time it is anyway, so fuck me. Yeah, I got it. Seriously, are you gonna roll me one or what? You don't want to sit around and chat with your boy? I roll my eyes, then set to like a good friend. There's always more day, more week, more month. There will always be more time to get stoned in peace and quiet and solitude and pass out and same, only to be blinded by the light later. It's not like I haven't done it every day for almost 2 years. Don't look at me like that. You just said you're not hurting for the stuff. You were making me nervous anyway. Can't say I've ever seen you not... What do you call it? Drippy pana? To say nothing of moving around like that. Where'd you learn to bend around like that anyway? I learned to move around like this in India. I'm not doing yoga, not jnana, not bhakti, not karma, not raja, not hatha, and definitely not tantra. Some of the bends and stretches wouldn't be unfamiliar in a hot yoga class today. Would he believe me if I told him the truth? I don't say anything. I mean, I get the stuff for you, don't I? Francis continues, not waiting for answers to his questions. I gotta go all the way to... You don't gotta go anywhere, Francis. I remind him, like I think he thinks I don't know. Like this is the first time we've had this very exchange of words. Nah, maybe not. But I still gotta work with the Saracens for you, Muhammad and Mother. Nope. I toss him the moog, wishing he'd given me a reason to reward him with my weed, instead of saying some racist bullshit centuries before race existed. He does not thank me. They prefer to be called Muslims, if you can't call them by the actual name of their people. Would you like it if someone called you a German, just because they only knew German Christians? Not that I can ask him that. He'll quibble that he doesn't identify as a Christian, perfectly ignoring my point. Yeah, well, whatever they are, they're greedy bastards. Do you know how much that shit for, do you know how much they charge for that shit you smoke? Yes, I'm the one who pays for it, remember? Subchapter 10. Speaking of which, Francis doesn't finish that sentence, just produces for me a satchel with a week's worth of opium bulbs in it. I know this because after taking it while wearing a face so suspicious it borders on malicious, I opened the satchel to make sure I, indeed, got what I paid for. Why did you bring this today? I asked, pulling the sack's drawstring closed and dropping it in the top left drawer of my desk. This is supposed to come once a week, not just whenever you feel like showing up, I say. This has become a drug deal. Small talk can wait. I'm not paying for this. I'm not here for your money. Francis is acting strange. This is a problem for me because there are maybe some 5 people in my life, and they only remain in my life because they're consistently the same personalities every day. My wife, Regina, the tavern master, Giorgio, and Francis. And now Francis is acting anything but the same as he's acted every day. Which is potentially very bad for me personally and professionally. You gonna give a guy a light? If Francis has the wherewithal to do so, he's avoiding my questions. I roll my eyes and sigh. You can't use the candle like a civilized person? When he quirks an eyebrow, I toss him a drag. It's a strange thing, watching someone use something you've invented for yourself like it's a totally normal thing for them to have in their life. Matches, no matter what Hennig Brand will or would, whatever the case may be, tell you, matches were not his original idea. Very few ideas are original. They weren't mine, either. I saw their basic blueprint being used in China while I was there, and after accidentally discovering phosphorus like 500 years before I meant to have, in my urine bucket in my laboratory downstairs, but shh, no one's supposed to know about it yet. It was only a hop, skip, and jump to apply sulfur and phosphorus to a stick before, voila, tiny Agni spirits whenever I or anyone at hand wants one. The thrill of the death of a god at my fingertips anytime I want. Unlimited power. Naming them Dreg, the Kumre word for fire, happened because I'm bad at naming things. How many people speak Kumre? Enough that an average person wouldn't be impressed with how they kind of, but don't sound like I'm referring to dragons and their fire? Doubtful. The real question you should ask yourself is to how many people I gave the names, or allowed to know they existed at all after Genoa. Countless is the number of times Francis has flicked that little flammable globule at the head of the drag stick across one of his fingernails, and I've hardly noticed, but as it erupts this time, with a hiss and a cloud of hell-stinking vapor into another tiny Agni as he dances his life away, I can't help but feel a little pride at how the Agni eats its stick, lights the tube of aromatic herbs, hashish and paper, and then is snuffed to nothing and discarded on the floor as less considerable even than trash. Nothing. Paper is my contribution to Dhumrapana. Prove I'm lying without using Google. You're not meant to feel pride, at least not the way I was raised, not the way I was taught. That's probably something like what a Jain would be taught to believe too. Most especially, they would be appalled at my pride for harnessing the life and death of another spiritual entity. But I do it anyway. This is what it must have been like to be the first person to receive fire from Prometheus, from Agni even, and share it with a friend, even if he wasn't a good friend. I remarked to myself, watching Francis's obligatory first hit coughing fit. You gotta cough to get off. You know it's safe. You gotta cough to get off. You know it's safe because it rhymes. What do you call this stuff? He struggles to ask. I don't call it anything, I say. It's called Dhumrapana in India, but they burn it like incense in bowls taking the smoke in as it fills up their tents or whatever. And not so much the cannabis, betel nut, and erica leaf, and more, and not so much the cannabis, betel nut, and erica leaf, and more cinnamon, cardamom, cherry, aromatic spices. Spices which are aromatic. Francis doesn't react. Does he believe I've been to India? Does it matter? What do you call the Ayurvedic medicine system, hoogity boogity? Probably. That's what this is? That's what's in this? Sometimes I do opium in it too, but that takes a mortar and my pestle hand is so lazy. It brings another lozenge to my tongue. Smoke eating, right? That's what you told me that word means? My eyes focus from a candle back to him. Right. It's more description of the action than the ingredients. You're not gonna make me eat all this smoke alone, are you? On Callan DiMaggio? Come on! I can't stop myself making a noise like the first steam laughing its way out of a kettle. I guess I can do that. I lower my eyes back to the one space atop the desk that isn't piled high with clutter. That working space nearest me where I rolled his moog and often rest my feet for naps and eyelid contemplation alike. And he smokes in silence. I won't speak for him, but I am enjoying the silence. I won't speak for him, but I am enjoying the silence. Francis can't say anything that makes me hate him when he isn't speaking, like a baby with a pacifier. Finally, when I have done licking the gummed edge of paper and sealing it shut, I put the moog between my lips. As I flick a drag, Francis cheers. That's a spirit. I roll my eyes. Once I have a cherry going, I drop the drag on the floor. It'll burn itself out on the way down. Sometimes I imagine that outside the perimeter of my candles and that light is a mountain of ashes and charred Agni summoning sticks. We need to talk, Rob. Hey, what's up, Jake? Francis's tone has changed. He's not about as serious as I've ever known him. He is as serious as I've ever known him. Am I in trouble? I try to joke, but the punchline is lame in my own ears. No one ever wants to just talk when they need to talk. Nah, I gotta talk to you. I mean, you've come to the right place, I say, exhaling what I hope appears to be a nonchalant cloud of smoke. That is like 8/10 of what I do here. I've been meaning to ask you about that. What it is exactly you do in here. I know it isn't really my business where you get your money, but I give him a look. Not secretive, not one where I raise my eyebrows, nothing like that. I just kind of look at him and smoke. Inside, I'm doing everything I can to be patient. There are a lot of things he could want to talk about, and all of them could end in the dissolution of our partnership, or worse. He doesn't seem to know where to go from here, or to be willing to ask the question. Is that what you wanted to talk to me about? What I do for money? Nah, not really. Sorta. Actually, I want to know, but no. That's not why I came today, no. I want so badly to roll my eyes. Then don't worry about it. Just say what you came to say. He looks at me with glassy eyes, and then I see a remarkable amount of fear. Of whom is he afraid? Me? That can't be. Of what, then? He's not in so deep with his creditors. They're going to kill him, are they? Or is it worse than that? For me? Do they have something they can hold over his head and they want to use it to get to me? Who is they? How do they know about me? And are they the Scaleo? Because if they aren't the Scaleo Demiurgoi, they can suck my... Subchapter 11. Rob? Yes? I need you to stay with me. That wife of yours is not what you came here to talk to me about. No, but. She manages my business, Francis. Ain't this your business? I don't see her here. Ain't never seen her here. Not once. Nobody has. No, and that's none of yours either. What is this affectation you're using? I'm getting tired of talking to that wife of yours about my damn finances. Don't look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about. She's on me near every day about my money. She wants to know where it is, where it's going, when she's going to get her cut of the last shipment. This quirks up my eyebrows. When was the last shipment? He frowns at me. You don't know? You don't watch it? No. That's what I have you and my wife for. When was it? Last week. When your stuff came in. You should really know this. Don't patronize me, Francis. When's she getting her cut? Sounds like you've had a week to find some liquidity. Don't you start on me too. It ain't her cut. I told her like I've been telling you. I'm not liquid right now, all right? I'm all tapped out, invested and reinvested in assets. What? What you mean is that you've extended yourself beyond your creditor's patience. Mine too, if I'm being honest with myself. Because you don't have assets. You have commodities exclusively. Goods for trade, not lands, property, people. You aren't trading in people, are you? I swear to God, Francis. I can't tell whether he's lying from his face, but he shakes his head in a deliberate no. I am unsettled. Your investments will not increase in value on their own. You don't have assets. All right, fine, so I forget the difference. You forget the difference? Francis, you're supposed to be a merchant. You're Genovese, for Christ's sake. Are you actually invested? Or are you so deep in debt you're here to ask me for money? He shrugs, but does not comfort me. His shrug does not comfort me. I'm not here to ask you for money. Sigh inwardly. Look, Rob, I'm going to level with you. As far as I'm concerned, Look, Rob, I'll level with you. As far as I'm concerned, your wife is a woman. The import business we're running out of this piece of shit you call an office is half mine. The other half sure as shit ain't split between the two of you. Capiche? I would remember going into business. I would remember going into partnership with her. When I open my mouth to reiterate that she manages my business now and that he is my business, he doesn't allow me to speak. She's a woman, Rob. Nothing you can say is going to make that make sense to me. Weren't you just pontificating about giving thanks to All-Mother? What kind of sense does it make that you refuse to cooperate with a woman? You're just like... I start to accuse him of being like Petros, a name I would normally use in my head, because that is how I most often read it. But stop myself, like I realize the rake in the grass, the head of which I'm about to step on, has a damn knife blade attached to the end of the handle, waiting for my face. Did I almost think that because of the dream, or because it's an observation I would honestly make? If I made it because of the dream, you're just gonna look at me like, what? Say something. It requires an effort not to shake the fog from my mind. I don't have to make my business make sense to anyone, least of all you, Francis. She's qualified. Certainly she's done more with less than you have. That won't be true forever. I'm just saying. If she keeps it up, she can find somebody else to nag. Make more for less without your contacts in the East, eh? You don't get her off my bag, or at least convince me you've talked to her and actually talked to her. No bullshit where I know you haven't left office in 6 months. Robert Longshore, soothsayer, seer, and strega. He spits this last like it's my fault his city is mystified by me. What? Because I look just slightly different than they do? Or you can figure out another way to get your Saracen contraband, glass and all, in a city full of noble merchant princes who are at war with the Muslim East. And that'll be after I beat on her like a dog that's pissed my rug. And I don't keep no dogs in my house, capiche? Like you already should have done a long time ago. Mouty bitch. I roll my eyes. I am sure, Francis, I say, emphasizing his name and leaving the lack of noble titles, epithets, or monikers implicit, that if you keep losing your one legitimate business partner's money, my wife, who is a woman and who also manages my business and makes decisions with mostly her at this point, money, well, she'll probably have no choice but to find us another smuggler. I exhale a mighty plume of smoke and stab the roach to death in the ashtray, or what amounted to it, the clay dish filled with the corpse tombstones of countless of its antecedents. Francis leans forward into the light, presumably to get a better look at me. But the effect is that I can clearly see that he wants me to think he's very tough right now. But really, he's very, very frightened. But not at all of me. Is that a threat? The fat man asks, narrowing his eyes like he thinks he wields power over me. Maybe he does, and I just don't know it yet. My sense that this is wrong, that in fact I know everything there is worth knowing, doesn't even allow for counter-argument. This thought is discarded like fast food wrappers from a 1950s Buick, with absolutely no regard for any of the consequences, and, if it were possible, less than zero thought. From me, I ask, as innocent as you like, and sincere, no. You didn't think she would. You don't think she would. Do I think my wife is a gang lord and crime boss and would have you executed over a little thing like a small fortune in silver? What do you think I think she is, Theodora of Rome? He blinks, like he's not sure to whom I'm referring, or which Theodora, which makes sense. They're all women, after all. Theophylac's wife. He basically runs Rome. Oh, whatever. Neither of us actually knows how relevant she is to what is about to happen in my life yet. Subchapter 12. Neither of us has laughed either, so I soldier on. No, I don't think that. But I do think someone is going to see you dead sooner or later at the rate you're going. For that, or just for being you. Probably my bitch wife, he says, dropping his mood to the floor. Then he laughs, like the prospect of being assassinated for being him stopped being a concern to Francis dozens of half-dead hookers ago. Have I met her? Have you met her? Regina? You'd have to have by now. Genoa ain't that big. And she goes to your wife's parties sometimes, don't she? He's probably not wrong, but that's not what I'm thinking. I'm trying not to wonder whether he's trying to bait me into admitting just how well I do, in fact, know Regina. Like we need to have that argument today. It's Calendamaggio. Sorry. It's Calendamaggio, Francis. She talks about you often enough. He finishes enough with a long exhale. With a long exhale and the accompanying coughing fit. I've been studying the darkness beneath my desk, wondering really if the miniature crossbow I keep near my right knee will be deterrent enough to slow him down if he decides to come around or across or in whatever way get behind the desk after me. I doubt it. He knows how fat he is, if he won't be able to gauge how weak the dart is. This, what he just said, whips my attention to him so fast I'm more concerned that I've legitimately given myself whiplash than I am that he notices how wide my eyes are. How do you do it, huh? Francis asks. The pit of my stomach is yawing open, but I'm impressed with myself that my heart rate isn't going wild. Al-Shamshir would be too, I think. How do I do what? I look at him with bored eyes. Bed your wife so frequently? It's easy when she hates you because you sleep in every bed but hers. Easier than your wife? I imagine him asking. Sorry. Easier than your wife? I imagine him asking, and I almost answer. Francis is evidently lost in his own thoughts, not really looking at me or anything in particular. Easy to do in the dark. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to understanding. It's all Gina can talk about. How you aren't even Genovese, yet you make enough money to keep your wife fashionable. It's enough to shame a guy if I didn't like you so much, or if I gave a single shit what she thinks about anything. He looks up at me. How do you pull that off, huh? How do you get away with it in your marriage? You say you don't have to hit her and that she just lives her life. You live your life. I get that. That it's a marriage, not a lover's tryst. Sure. But Regina would never let me skip out on a chance to look like the perfect husband in front of her friends and family and their friends and their families. Like how you miss chances to drink until you don't remember beating on her after those parties? That's not how our marriage works, is what I say. She understands the arrangement. What is that arrangement? That's what I'm asking you. Why doesn't she divorce you and nag you till you give up on everything you ever dreamed of? The bigness, the glassiness of his eyes, the sincerity of his voice. I almost feel sorry for the little bastard, or for the fat bastard. Your mother really did a number on you, I think. If the money is hers, Francis, do you really want to gossip about our wives like we're a couple of old men? I ask. This is dangerous territory. I'm not sure I know exactly why or what I'm actually afraid of, or whether I'm being paranoid. Of course I'm paranoid. The question is a matter of degrees, idiot me, not whether. I should have already left Genoa a long time ago, before the social pressure tempted me to marry, to buy a home, to settle in this office. Why did I stay so long? I should never have let things get this far. And they're about to go a lot further. Sure, Francis shrugs. It's Gallen DiMaggio. I can't help but notice there's significantly less exclamation in this declaration. What better time to discuss the mysteries of marriage? When I've met and fallen for the charms of a Lamia, maybe. I curse. Then I realize, don't tell me that Regina has found someone who claims to be a part of the Eleusinian cult. Oh, God. I don't go to the parties, Francis. Honestly, I'm too busy fucking your wife. I almost wish that were true, but it can't be, can it? It would make me as ugly as my feelings for him. Is that what I want? To be as ugly as my affiliation with Francis feels? You make the money and she spends it. Typical. Francis spits. Like, actually spits on my floor. I frown at him. He doesn't notice. No wonder she's not sleeping around on you with every swinging dick in Christendom. That doesn't even make sense to hear you say it. And Regina says, you don't actually know that about her. I wish you wouldn't say it around me. I don't like hearing these things. Yeah? He asks, laughing a mean laugh. And why is that? Because I love her? Can't be that. No, I don't think that's why. You know I don't like hearing such hateful talk. Right. You're one of them sensitive souls. You got a delicate spiritual constitution. He laughs. So much cruelty. You can see it in the bulges and folds of the skin of his face. Is that what Regina says about me? Is that what Regina says about me? I hope you die spewing from both ends, you turd. A pussy, in other words. That's not... I sigh. And besides, don't you nobility say that you don't have a real Christian marriage unless you're unfaithful? Making bored eye contact with me like I'm being totally irrelevant. Francis says, you gonna have another? I can only laugh through my nose. Yeah, give me a second. It is Gallen DiMaggio, after all. It's in grateful silence that I roll him another. Silently, I hand him the moog and another drag, and silently he takes it. Still no thanks. The only sounds for the next few minutes are the immediate noises of his giving birth to an Agni spirit, then transferring its soul to the moog, and then there are only his respirations, the rustlings of my crafting for myself a second moog, and the intermittent clicking of the chair's short leg as Francis rocks his bulk back and forth. I'm glad to hear you've gotten comfortable. How long are we going to go around like this before you tell me what you're here to tell me? Not an unpleasant few moments, altogether taken. I try to enjoy them. Who knows how much longer this will go on? So you're really not coming out this year? Francis asks, shattering the silence like a rock through a pane glass window, a sound the world won't hear for quite a long time. I could have picked a better simile. I nearly jump out of my chair. No? I ask, frowning. The why would I do that left implicit. Everybody missed you last year. People have asked about you this week. Who? I demand, licking the gummed edge of the paper and rolling it sealed. Oh, like you would know their names. Touché. Are you coming or not? His eyes suggest. It's a mile. We can talk on the way. No, not. Why won't you let this go? Are you hoping to rob me later? Just ask for the money. Francis avoids my eyes. In fact, looks so far to either side, I wonder whether he doesn't know whether let me start that over. Francis avoids my eyes. In fact, looks so far to either side, I wonder whether he doesn't know we're alone in here. I suppose I could say. He doesn't seem to know that we are not being observed. The hell? Does he have reason to think we are? Who's being paranoid now? Still me. And if I think I see the shadow shape of a preteen boy in a hooded cloak just behind him, and a looming cloud of greater darkness just above that, Well, then my eyes might be open a little too wide. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. 13. Look, normally I wouldn't care, all right, Francis says, lowering his voice to a conspiratorial stage whisper. But things are different now. I open my eyes, realizing only then that I've shut them tight. I focus on him, the other thing forgotten. They're not different. Things don't change overnight, Francis. People aren't suddenly different. He doesn't argue. Francis, do you need a drinking buddy this badly or something? Do you need to distance yourself from me in public this badly? He shoots back. If his answer is no, mine is a yes. I keep it to myself. There are those who would like to see you among the people more, Rob. That's all I'm trying to say. Why did he just put initial caps emphasis on people? Worse, why does Francis suddenly sound like a middle manager issuing a feared subordinate orders from above? He has no hero's valor, but he's no coward either. You can't be in his line of work. No, for that matter, nor, for that matter, am I his subordinate. Do his superiors know that? Is that why the aggression toward my wife? What kind of person would think less of him for working in a mutually profitable arrangement with a woman? And why does he care about that kind of person's opinion? Why does anyone? Is that what you came here to talk to me about? His eyes visibly whinge, a particular kind of silent complaint, not at all idiosyncratic to him. Rob, are you here to persuade me to go into the city for the Calendamaggio festivals? If you are, I ask, unable to keep the incredulity from my voice. I stop myself because, what? If he is, then he should have just asked, or he should have just said so instead of beating around the bush like this. We're supposed to be friends, business partners at least. Can a man put aside some time in his busy schedule to smoke out with his business partner and best buddy? Come on. Sigh. Now I'm thinking in Francis's voice for him, as if listening to him bitch isn't bad enough. Why? Aren't you some kind of Dwyn? He asks. Then, before I can fully comprehend the cumrig, he hiccups and adds, Dwynus? I mean, like a sorcerer? Aren't you supposed to be able to interpret dreams and see the future and shit? That's what everybody says. He flails at the end, and I imagine him feeling like the fat, stupid kid everybody has played a joke on. Rumor is you've had every Genovese wife and no shortage of their daughters in here. I'd ask if you'd been with Regina, but I really just do not give a single fuck, even if you'd given her a lot more than that. He laughs. Bitterly, but unironically. I'm not sure I believe him. You'd make me a better Christian, you know? There's something in his eyes that suggests he might know, or suspect, that I have, and I don't disbelieve them for a single second. All right, so you're not here to confront me about Regina. That's something. Not exactly great news, but I like being sure of something. I don't feel so much like I'm walking over a pit trapped with spikes. That isn't to suggest that I'm in any less danger. What could make you so hesitant, Francis? We sit in unpleasant silence for many moments, both of us apparently enjoying, then discarding his moog. If he wanted to know the answer to his question, he's not acting like it. Moog means smoke, by the way. I know I haven't said that yet. I'm bad at naming things. Fun word, though. All of this happens before I realize that he thinks I've been trying to answer his question. He's been being patient. I've been being absent-minded. To an observer, my sudden outburst, really more of an untimely ejaculation of laughter, would seem to come from nowhere and be apropos of nothing. Francis grins. Oh, what? He asks. I forgot you asked me a question. No, I'm not a sorcerer. I don't interpret dreams. I can't see the future. Nothing like that. Nothing you think you know about me is true. I'm laughing this last, but he quirks his brows, makes a noise, and then, and whose fault is that, is left unsaid. It's not like you're a talkative fuck, you grumpy shit. I don't know if I believe you, kid. This room screams Strega bullshit. Don't you mean pagan hoogity boogity? No. I mean that standing in that doorway is like standing in the mouth of hell. There's real magic in this room, Rob, even if you want to act like you're just some stranger from nowhere. Even if you only help everyone. You had to know that. You had to be ready for this. No, there's not. And I'm not acting. And frankly, I'm not nearly Italian enough to be Strega, first off. And there are nowhere near close to enough bones and assorted dead things in here. And ready for what? Francis chews his lip for several seconds. Fine. A wizard, then? Francis, what do you want from me? I've been annoyed. I've been annoyed. Now I'm starting to get angry. Still patient, though. That counts for something. You're a Strega, he continues. A witch, a sorcerer. My blood is getting hot. Luckily for me, my collar is not tightly done. Are you accusing me of something? Nothing I do is illegal. Not illegal, but still. What? No, they just expect you to show your face. That's all. You don't have to go through any of the rituals, sing any of the songs, dance any of the dances, perform at any of the plays. With each of these items I don't have to do, I see an image on the inside of that vision brought in by my eyes. A city thronged with people, all of them staring at me in a parade processional, and none of them is jubilant. Like a memory of 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 the last time I did this. And I'm not sure where or whether I first imagined it. What? No! I'm not sure whether I'm talking to him or myself either. And who is saying these things about me? Tell them to stop. Everybody, come on, Rob. Are you so lost in this world you've forgotten the face of your mother? What did you just say to me? I have to have heard this phrase outside of my dreams, but I don't know where. Your mother, Robert. Have you so soon forgotten her that you can't, not even for one day, squeeze a plump virgin's tits for her? It's all anyone is asking of you. Would that not put a smile on your stupid, damn gloomy face? He laughs. There are wheels turning behind his eyes. I don't know what they mean, but I can see their revolutions through the smoky glass. 14. Why is Cal DiMaggio the only place he can think to begin? Let's see if he turns away again. I don't say anything, and eventually, not visibly squirming, but I feel like I can sense an anxiety in it, an impatience. He asks, have you ever lived in Tuscany? Keeping the lie on my face is getting more difficult every time he does this. No. Why are you asking me that? When it doesn't look like he's going to answer on his own, I ask, what's in Tuscany? By the time we get there, the virgins won't be available for squeezing anymore. Cal DiMaggio will be over. Nah, nothing like that. He laughs, waving away the idea like it's absurd, like no one has ever gone on a road trip to get some strange. Actually, probably no one has yet. It's nothing, just, I was thinking about something Gina said about a dream I had about you. Regina interprets your dreams? I guess now that I know he doesn't care if I'm sleeping with her, I care less about concealing the alarm in my voice. Or I just forgot to. You never told me you're a dreamer. Me? Nah, I never had, real vivid dreams or dreams I could remember after I woke up before. Before when? If you think they're about me and you think I'm a dream reader, why didn't you tell me? Honestly? His face falls open to full frankness. I wasn't sure what I thought. I'd never seen or done, never dreamed like that before. So I tried not to think about it. When did this start? Oh, I don't know. 6 weeks, a month ago? I really didn't. I thought it was, stupid, superstitious to obsess over dreams. I tried to forget it. What do you think now? I think that Gina says I think about you too much. She's probably right. It was probably nothing, just some bad bread or something. You know how it is. Bad bread? That's too specific to be meaningless. I can't see his hands in the dark. In fact, he has them hidden, his arms across his belly, and of course his feet are in sandals, but completely invisible to me. Even if I were to stand and lean over my clutter, a move which would be too obvious and intrusive to be worth attempting just to fail. How would they look, I wonder? His hands and feet. Pale? Vasoconstricted? Or his gangrene already begun to eat at his toes? Ergot isn't a joke, Francis, is what I say. I don't know what you're talking about. Ergot's poisonous, and I'm not trying to die before I made my riches. I don't want dreams. What, do you think I'm eating ergot for visions? Like I think I'm you or something? Don't be stupid, Robert. I'm not fucking stupid. I'm no idiot. I have no illusions, Striga vision. There are too many of you in the world as it is. I've just been having a dream. That's all. Why don't I believe in you? What about Tuscany then? Why did you ask me about Tuscany and then start talking about a dream? That's the thing. That's the dream. It's the same one every time I have it. I know that I'm in Tuscany. You know, like how you know things in dreams. I'm in a house. It's my rich friend's house. It's more of a palace, really. I'm walking through the halls past my friend's room when I see that his door is partway ajar. My friend always keeps his door closed and locked. He has secrets shut away in there, even from me. Is it just me? Or is he affecting my affectation? He's good. It's weird. Uncanny. This sends a shiver down my spine. And see, this is when I know that I'm his best friend, or something like it. He treats me like his best friend. I can remember, but it's not like I see a whole friendship of moments where he's treated me well and deserves my loyalty. He thinks I'm something, a wizard probably. We've never actually talked about it, but he calls me good luck, and his fortune has been good with me, and mine has been good with him. My throat is shut tight and bone dry. It's a dream, Francis continues. I want to just walk away. I know that nothing good can come of going to that door, but it's a dream, so I can't stop myself. It felt like a dream, too. I have the key. I tell myself I'll just do my due diligence and lock the door. I won't look in. I've actually never been in there, and this is when it happens again. I remember a whole friendship of rumors about what's in that room, and I remember my friend telling me that that was his one line I couldn't cross. But when I reach into the pocket of my jacket, Francis says this word, and I know he doesn't know it, but he accompanies it with a surprisingly modern gesture, automatically reaching into an imaginary waist pocket. He pulls out his hand, looks at it, and I realize his voice is and has been a million miles away for some time, and that my hand is clutched around an imaginary key I left in a jacket not dissimilar to the one draped across the back of my chair 2 years ago. I can't see his face, but I almost wonder whether Francis's eyes wouldn't be wide orbs. Insane. Impossible. Nothing is impossible, only improbable as far as you know. I shake myself violently out of the grip of the master, my teacher's voice. What am I going to do now? I don't know. It's a violation, Francis is saying. Whatever I do, if I don't attempt to apprehend the intruder, I'm allowing a crime to go unthwarted, a thought antithetical to my being, to the very reason I joined Adalbert and his insane schemes in the first place. Did he just say Adalbert? And if I do open the door, I'm crossing that one line, no matter the justification. What if it's him in there? I'm an idiot. I approach the door. It's open too wide to be discreet. I can see that it's not Adalbert before I'm close enough to duck away if she didn't have her back to me. My heart falls at the sight of her. Now my betrayals are infinite. Of course it's her. I told her to leave well enough alone, and of course she couldn't. She couldn't be discreet about her indiscretions. His favorite mistress, and maybe my best friend in the city. I think I love her, but I try to swallow. Did I love her? Then I'm choking and trying not to cough. I confront her, Francis continues in my voice. It's a dream, and what else was I going to do? Just turn away? I'm lying if I say I didn't try, that I didn't want to, but every time What did you say to her? I ask, breathless, remembering. Francis's whole body jerks, like I just reached across the desk and smacked him across the face. What? What did I say? He sounds muddled, then shakes his head, leaning forward to rest his hands on his knees and peer past me into one of the candles. What did I say to her? I don't remember. I can't ever remember the rest. It's like I'm still there, still dreaming when I think about the first part, but the last part, it's like I don't want to remember. I sure don't. But she dies. He finds out, my rich friend. Do you know his name? His name? Nah, it's a dream. Not real. This didn't happen. What do you remember? What do you remember? I remember that in the dream, I don't know how she dies. I'm just certain that I'm next. So I fake my death. Did you get the key back from her? That's how I faked it. I threw my jacket over a cliff. I knew he knew I kept the key in the pocket, so I knew he'd waste time getting the jacket before he worried about actually finding me. And if I was lucky, he'd let his men convince him I'd fallen. That's how my jacket got down there. But in the dream, when I'm running at the end, it's dark, storming, night. And all I know is that he won't think I'm actually dead. Not him. Not me. 15. That has a surprisingly complete narrative structure, I say, trying to hide my struggling behind condescension. Don't it? Not like any dream I ever heard of. You had this dream, 6 weeks ago? It's pretty remarkable you remember it so well. I was not being fully honest. I've had it every night the last 6 weeks. Oh. That's remarkable for a different reason. Yeesh. This falls over the room like a wet blanket. For maybe the first time in my adult life, I actually don't have anything hurtful to say in lieu of witty repartee. I am speechless too. I really don't know what makes Gina think it's about you, though. I shrug. A cooler gesture than I feel. I'm the only foreigner in the city, near enough. Sounds like she thinks you compare yourself to me, maybe. Maybe? I thought she was full of shit, but the way she explained it, she said that you're in some kind of trouble, that someone wants something bad for you, and that he or they are coming to Genova soon. She said it's like Daniel's dream of the threshes of wheat for pharaohs. She said I should warn you, that the dream was a warning from God. Do I tell him how very wrong that is? Then why didn't you tell me? I thought it was bullshit. I thought she was just being the way she is. I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you now. Because a ship came in the other day. Last night, really. With an interesting rumor. Well, you didn't live in Tuscany, so I must be wrong. What I was going to say or what I was going to ask. Because you wouldn't lie to me. Would you? What were you going to say? That's technically a lie of omission. I don't know why I asked this question. I don't want to know the answer. Was that you? Was I dreaming your life? No. Sounds like yes, actually. See, that's what I thought. I knew it couldn't have been you. You don't like politics. You wouldn't get yourself all tangled up in the lives of someone like Adalbert of Tuscany. He's the Marquis, right? Margrave. See, you don't even know that much. What's the rumor then? Is it about me? Nah, it just made me think of the dream. And Gina said the dream was about you. Adalbert of Tuscany's got a bounty out for somebody matching your description. It's vague. So a Breton? I ask. It's not secret I'm a northerner. Who cares if he knows I'm from the Isles? It's not like there are a lot of people who look like you who choose to live down here. Most of you keep to your own. Figure you got problems enough there. Those problems are not why I'm here. I hear you, but really, it was more the womanizing and the black magic and the alchemy which rang bells for me. And what am I meant to have done? No sense denying what isn't legal or illegal yet, and just be insisting I haven't committed a crime he hasn't accused me of, the behavior of, in fact, a guilty person. And this one is. 15. very guilty on all charges. Killed a girl, suicided yourself, maybe run off. It's just a rumor. A dream. If Gina's right, though, and I should have told you sooner, but I was gonna come down here and tell you today. Honestly, I couldn't wait to take my little buddy out the calendar. I'm laughing too hard to hear him name the holiday for the 1000th time. What's so funny? No one ever tells the truth after starting with honestly or to tell the truth, etc. Well, that can't be true because you lie to me with that phrase all the time. You've been doing it all afternoon. You weren't planning to come today. How do you think it's afternoon? Isn't it? How early did you wake me up, Francis? I'm almost more upset by the prospect that we might be having this conversation anti-Meridian than that it could result in my immediate and hasty retreat from Genoa. I've made immediate, hasty retreats before, on dark and stormy nights, no less. That's not a big deal. That I can deal with emotionally. Waking up before the sun has started its downward trek in the sky, however, is a bridge too far. No, I was not, Francis admits. Tomorrow, maybe, I continue, hearing that I'm angry and letting it make me seem like I have some kind of upper hand in the conversation. If he's so afraid, let him fear me, too. See where it gets us. What changed? Things don't change. Things must have changed, Francis. What happened? I almost believe you don't know, Francis says, adopting a sly countenance. I can't really see his features, and a devil-may-care posture on his undersized chair. You said something changed, so what changed? Is he being deliberately obtuse in hopes that I'll say it for him? Does he want me to figure it out? Whatever the case, it is deliberate. What game are you playing at, Francis? And what are you so scared of? All right, I say, playing along. So much for the Iron Hand. There was a ship coming, and a rumor. Rumors don't always come on ships, but ships always carry rumors. Ships don't always come on holidays, but it's not out of the ordinary for a real maritime trading city. Festivals are when the savvy merchant knows he's going to move his goods. A real maritime city, Genoa is not. What was so important you couldn't wait to come here and turn my life upside down, Francis? He swallows hard, tries to chuckle. Your eye ain't even cockeyed yet. Not the point, Francis. All right, look. That story don't carry water very far, I agree. That's what I told him. But he said that's the way it had to go. He said what she said to say. He gets quiet. Dare I say contemplative for a moment. A man could get rich lying to a man people name Rick. A man could get rich lying to a man people nickname the Rich to his face. Though, you do understand that. If he wanted to die painfully, sure. What I don't understand is what you are getting at. He blinks, and I almost wonder what he actually thinks of me. Say it. I'm telling you that I'm threatening you, kid. I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. But I do it anyway. I laugh. You're threatening me with telling Adalbert about me? It'll take days for you to get a message to him. And what are you going to do in the interim? As he sends his goons to get me or whatever he's going to do. Are you going to restrain me until then? Francis, you've given away every advantage you have by telling me. It was you then. They were right. I don't react. I do wish I had a mood, something in my hand so I could make a dismissive gesture which wouldn't be wooden and weird. So what if I was? Francis leans as far forward as he can in his chair. His face is hideously conspiratorial with the candlelight. With the na, I know something you don't know of a soul already damned and in hell. I know people, powerful people, important people, people who know things, the kind of things other people will kill to keep people like me from knowing. All right, so if one of them Is one of them on a boat right now, waiting for me or something? 16. Francis kind of jerks upright, like this is a surprising thing for me to ask. Gone from his face are all the hideous, dangerous shadows. Now he's just a friendly fat guy on Calendamaggio who's had too much to drink and too much smoke and talked too long about things he doesn't like to think about. And I am a leaf in a stream, I remind myself. Free from desire, I realize the mystery. Caught in desire, I see only the manifestation. Yet mystery and manifestation arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. No, it's not like that. Francis is smiling and waving his hands in front of his face like he thinks I'm going to get up and throttle him. The captain sends only his salutation. Was that initial caps because it was the start of the sentence or because he's talking about who I think he's talking about? I think of the opium bulbs in my desk and how they came several days early. The captain, like the captain, like that's his name, and every land where people have an equivalent word, and in whatever language you like. It's always initial caps, the captain. I don't even know if he has ever had a real name. He would know what I like, though, if he were to send me a present. But does that mean... No. How did he find me? And why was he looking? He works with the Scaleo. He is not among the Scaleo. Let me be very clear about something, Francis is saying. I give him back my attention. Because I know I'm losing you. I can see it in your eyes. I know how much you hate politics, so let's just rip off the last of the bandage, huh? Get this talk over with so you can go back to your upside-down life, huh? I know that's all you hear when I tell you the captain has brought a beautiful woman to you, so let me just... He's right. I stopped listening after that. But I'll tell you what he says anyway. I know the people you work with now. I know why you're in Genoa. So if you don't do what I'm about to tell you, if you tell me no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you up to Adalbert, and I'm going to sort out the rest. I'll let you sort the rest out on your own. Good luck surviving then, you little prick. What beautiful woman? I asked. Emerald fire eyes are all I can see. God damn you, Rob! What woman? What does she look like? I snap. I'm on my feet. The candles are burning out. If he describes or names Peto right now, I am going to walk right out that door, the entire mile down to the docks, and right into the sea as far as I can until Poseidon takes me away from this insane world forever. She don't matter. She's just some whore, a sailor's wife who wants a damn fortune read. Don't worry about her. Relax. This is only going to hurt a bit? I'm telling you, I'm going to turn you in for the reward money, kid. I blink. Why would you do that? Because, no, I correct him like I think he's misunderstood me. I sit down. Not what do you think you stand to gain, or what is the real ransom that could justify it to me. I get that. You're dumb enough to think I'd buy it, but you're not stupid enough, Francis, to agree with whoever has you by the short hairs to... Are you? Francis, what have you done? I keep trying to tell you, kid, Francis says, getting exasperated, I notice, but not upset. He sounds to the modern ear, an innocent person telling a detective who is determined to put him away for a heinous crime, that he is, in fact, innocent of that heinous crime. What heinous crime does he think he's committed? To me, his desperation is just uncomfortable. I want to be away from here. Worse, I want him to be away from here. And I want to do what it takes to make that happen. Who's the woman, Francis? I ask. Why are you really here? To warn me, or she's got nothing to do with why I came to talk to you? He shouts, slapping his thigh as he throws himself to his feet with surprising alacrity. He looks at me like this is all my fault, then wipes at his mouth and chin with a hand before visibly stopping himself, looking over his shoulder and sitting back down. I don't look either. Not if the opium has me seeing things that aren't there. You know, no one really cares if you're a Strega or whatever, right? No self-respecting Genovese. Not if you don't stop them from being rich. Even the best of the Christians, Robert. I do know that. I'm not doing anything illegal. The old ways aren't illegal. I should like to think I can count on that always being true in Italy. In Genoa, at least. With such good friends. Why do you want me to feel blackmailed, Francis? What can't you come out and say without having me bent over a barrel? You should also know, then, that no one really remembers the old ways. La vecchia religione. I do. That's why there are grandmothers who claim to. There are old pa's who pass off tricks and folklore as wisdom. But they all live out near the woods and away from the cities. Nobody's got balls like you do. Not anywhere in Christendom, to say nothing about Genova. To be anything but a good Christian in public. I know you think we're silly. Backward, ignorant Christians and non-Christians. Just all of us who ain't you. Really. Christianity did do a lot in that regard. Alexandria, you know. But on a day like today, it gets a guy thinking. It really does, all right? We can talk about the rest later. It's not like I'm never going to see you again. It's Calendimaggio, and I realized when I got in here, I really just wanted to spend Calendimaggio with my buddy, all right? You never call me buddy. I don't want to talk about this other stuff. Not today, not at all, but I have to. You have to understand that by now, right? So I'm going to say this. Then I'm going to say that. I promise this time. Then I'm going to go. I'm going to try to forget about it between a pair of tits. You can do what you're going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm looking at him, and I'm concerned he won't make it beyond my doorway before passing out. Calendimaggio. Maggio. That name comes from the goddess Maya. She's the mother of Hermes. I know you know who Hermes is. She's also the daughter of Atlas and Pleione, one of the Pleiades. The Pleiades are the stars we merchants navigate this night by. The night by, you know that? It's all interconnected. I'm listening, but really I'm wondering why a proud Italian is using the Greek names and where he learned them. In Latin, a name means larger, greater. The womb we all live and die in. Not so different from magia, huh? Magic. Like Prometheus and Agni? Aw, you were listening. Growth. That's what she represents. The magic of nature, friend. Life from death. Emergence from the darkness into the light. Where the Christians say that life only begins after death, she is proof that life is for the living. If you believe this, I'm not sure how threatening my life tracks. Next, you're going to tell me about Persephone, I say. He nods, leans again as close to me as he can in the dim light, and for just the briefest of moments, but so clearly I will never again not see it. I see Petrus's features buried beneath all the fat and self-hatred which jowl his. Then you understand. He nods and sits back in his chair, a weary soul anticipating release. The true goddess, her image is not lost to us. I failed you before, but I will not this time. Even if I have learned too lately the truth, I can still... They want you to be the one to bridge that gap for them. Me. Yes. Who is they? The person who bridged that gap was married to the goddess. What about my wife? That person was a king. That job isn't the kind of gig you just give away to anyone. Yes. Francis's eyes take on an eager glint, like he's finally said the clue he believes will allow me to figure it out for myself, saving him his life. Sorry, Francis. Who is they, Francis? His lips quiver. His face falls. He doesn't want to say what he's opening his mouth to say. I can see it in his eyes. Likewise, he's helpless to refuse, now that the question has been asked in isolation. He promised, or something near enough. 17. Have you ever heard of a group which calls itself the Scaleo Demiurgoi? I am so thankful I didn't promise myself to walk into the ocean if he mentioned the school. Somehow, I manage not to react, either outwardly or inwardly. It's like I've been waiting for this for 2 years, because I've been waiting for it for 7. I must seem totally ignorant, because Francis explains, sometimes they're called the school. They're a secret cabal that run the world. From the shadows, I finish for him, mockingly. Oh, so like the Illuminati? Isn't an exclamation / question combination, which I will be able to utilize until after the Bavarian Illuminati have gone defunct and fringe researchers have had the chance to popularize the idea in the 1980s. You do the math. I raise the appropriately skeptical eyebrow, however. One of the first things they teach you when you're a member of the Illuminati is how to effectively deny being a member of the Illuminati. It's like being in the CIA. But instead of destroying the lives of poor people in poor countries, you're creating opportunities for them by destroying the lives of the uber-riche in the riche nations. It's a vicious cycle. You've heard of them. I can't tell whether that's the excitement of a dog who's heard outside or mortal terror in his eyes. The latter is more appropriate given the circumstances. I speak Greek, I correct him. Like the master, my teacher isn't also the leader of said Scaleo. Ah, he looks at the floor, collapsing like a slowly deflating pig bladder. Did they contact you to make me the king of Genoa, Francis? You know that sounds insane. I do. It is. He looks at me, his eyes pleading. Genova needs a king, Robert Longshore, Fulcrum of fate. If anyone can protect us during what is to come, it is you. Now he's making up stupid sounded titles to make me think I'm some kind of fate king? I laugh, long and hard. What is to come? By the time I'm done slapping my thigh and crying, is on his feet. You can laugh if you want. I'm dead either way. The choices I made, I can't exist in their world, and I'm no longer of this one. I look up at him. I've never seen him this way. Won't ever again either. This isn't about our partnership. This isn't about me benefiting off you. This isn't about loyalty. I don't have any loyalty to you, and you don't owe any to me. It's better that way. We're men, not dogs, not women. We're free to do as we please, so long as we can defend ourselves from the consequences. That's the law of the age. What we aren't is friends, you and me. You don't have any friends, and I don't want them. We're partners, not even that much. You made that clear, putting that woman in your place in my half of the business. We're associates. You'll betray me someday. Revenge, I suppose, for when I betrayed you. I'm sure I don't know what you mean, I insist to myself. And that's all right. That's the way. I'm not worried about that. Not one bit. It's going to rain. What are you worried about? I can't help asking. Getting the bit in your mouth before you go putting yourself in someone else's power. There's a glint in his eyes I've seen from the floor of a stone prison, or under another woman's spell. He tips his head, and I'm sure that if he had a hat like mine, he would have pulled on its edge. And with that, he's just gone. Francis walks right out the door and closes it behind him. And wordlessly, I let him go. See you around, I guess. I'm left blinking at the light spots in my retina, unable to even think about what I should think about what just happened. I'm left blinking at the light spots. Did he really just offer me a kingship under duress? Did he just suggest that the Scaleo want me to be king of Genoa? Or that there are two factions in Genoa, one that want me to be king, the other the Scaleo? I put my head in my hands and find there a lozenge of opium. Nice.
Yes. Eva.
Okay. Hey, Alfonso. All right.
Oh man.
Here. The Memoirs of the Fulcrum of Faith, Eric. Sometimes muscle memory is just ordered. This is stupid. And how the hell are the captain he was talking about and the woman? Is she really nothing? Or is she who I think she is? A Scaleo's spy? More next time in the Memoirs of Robert Longshore, the case of the Lesvos serpent. Because I don't ponder the answer to those questions. I replace the candles with fresh ones, leave them unlit, close my eyes, and fiend. Fiend means finish, by the way. That's episode 1. Now that got in there. However long this stream is how long I've been reading it. I read the Not an Apology and episode 1. I think I just did like 4 hours, maybe 3 hours. It only shows me that I've been for 42 minutes, but I know that's wrong. It's almost 4 o'clock. I mean, it's after 4 o'clock. That rain is really coming down. Yeah, the rest that I have available is on the Patreon, yep. It's written, though, to be like, it's written to be episodic. You don't need the whole story. You can pick up anywhere in the story. It's for your, it's written to be a leisurely stroll through a radio program. Concerned about the rain. It's coming down real hard. It hasn't rained like this in a while, so the last time it rained like this, my tent leaked. Should be fine. That sounds like hail. It's because it is hail. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Well, God's going to pummel my tent with hail today. Not what I thought was going to happen today. Hello, Sahil. But that's what's happening today. Well, pray for me that I don't come back to my tent to find holes in it, punched in it by ice. Thank goodness the rain is blowing this way, so it's blowing away. I'd say it went fine. Saho. It's blowing toward the strongest part of my tent. I am. Yeah, him. They've been playing trailers for that like crazy. It's the new Jordan Peele horror movie. I'm not gonna check it out because football, but I hope you do let me know. No, I'm not near Bealsville. I don't know where Bealsville is. I dropped out of uni. Oh, the final chapter. They finally upgraded, or they finally finished Raft, huh? Oh, I kind of want to own that just to do it. Jeez.
Andy.
Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to play Schedule 1 for the Discord. So I'm gonna start this live over, and I'm gonna play Schedule 1. I think I've earned that. It's cold in here. I might go and check out the movie After Burn, I think is what it's called. It's got Batista in it. It's an action movie with Batista. The plot looks stupid. I think it's based on a comic book movie. But next time I go watch a movie, that's probably what I'm going to want to watch. Yeah, seriously cold in here. Trying not to think about it, but also freezing my fucking tits off. All of a sudden, it was really warm outside, and then it started raining, hailing, of all things. I'm gonna give it about 4 more minutes, and then I'm gonna start over a new live, and we're gonna be thematically doing something else. Well, at any rate, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping through. Thank you for watching for any amount of time that you did. Um, this show doesn't have a specific sponsor, so I'm just going to thank the 4 that I have: Mr. S, Alex Smith, Rach, and Magic Shadow are how I am able to live this life. I haven't worked on Rob since they've known me, but they make it possible. Without them, they made it possible for me to share that today. And they made it possible for me to share it today. I don't feel like what anybody wants from me is my literary work. So it's buried hidden. But I have a chronicle and put effort into it, and what it can look like if someone wants me to put effort into it again. So thank you. Thank you for watching. If you like it, it's on the Patreon. Everything I've ever transcribed of Rob is on the Patreon. But it's so much. I am inadequate to it, but that was pretty good. It could be better. I actually don't think that novella could be any better. I don't know how I would make it better without making it longer. That's what happens when I sit down and I go, I can make this better. So, commentary, criticism with my work can fix it. So thank you. And come back around if you want to see my dumb face and you want to hang out like this. But I'm gonna play schedule 1 for the Discord audience, and if it's slow and I'm not getting a lot of movement, I might listen to an audiobook. I'm listening to A History of Ancient Mesopotamia because that's what I like to do with my time. Fuck you. I'm sorry, don't fuck you. That is what I like to do with my time. Also, a supporter of the channel bought it for me, so I want to engage with the gifts that my supporters send me, for sure, absolutely. I only have one book left in my description wish list, so, but I think I've got like 4 or 5 credits. But yeah. That's what it looks like when Shaggy writes. It's not a competition, but I am very good. And now you know a little bit more about what I like in a story. I decided to tell a story that was impossible to tell from a traditional standpoint. The actual first-person experience of a human being as told from the third person of their afterlife experience. If anyone else has ever attempted that, I've never heard of it. An idea so good it had to be mine.